Listen, listen, listen. The classified line has now been canceled. Everyone can rejoice that has been waiting for it to end as the time has come, as the entire G.I. Joe team has been let go. Welcome to Monday Night Toy Ramblings, where I will ramble on for probably the next 3 hours, as there's actually a good amount of news to go through, talk about a few things, and get into all that good stuff. And then we can kind of discuss where the G.I. Joe classified line will go from here, as I know everyone is wondering, is this the end? Has Hasbro said, hey, you know what? We lost the designer. We lost the painter. Who cares anymore? We don't care about money. We'll just go do whatever we want, and we'll let this brand die once again. Anyway, we're going to discuss that. And I want to hear what you guys have to say. As you can see, the poll is up right now. And quickly, if I go ahead and look at the poll, only 12% think the line is dead. 16% feel it is, they'll kill it and start a new line. 19% on life support. I would hate to be you people if someone goes in with a burn on their hand and they're like, you know what? Just pull the plug on that, dude. Anyway, let's get into it. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. It got cold again. It was actually kind of nice for a little bit. It got cold. It's supposed to be in the 20s again here tomorrow. Yet when I ask that person, you know who that person is, the one that we shall not speak her name because then she'll start asking me questions. She said that the low tomorrow is supposed to be 53, but it's going to drop down to 27 by morning. I know it's AI, and I feel like I'm the only person that saw Terminator and know how all this ends, and I do feel bad for my children that they're going to have to deal with that. But if it's going to be 27 degrees in the morning at 8 a.m., doesn't that make the low tomorrow 27, not 53? You know what? Hey, AI knows more than me. I know AI knows more than everyone because we see all the stupid AI shit that people continue to do on Facebook because no imagination anymore, no actual physical talent, people doing actual drawing or even Photoshop for that matter. But anyway, that's me on my little rant. This is Monday Night Toy Rambling, so what else can you kind of expect? Anyway, this weekend, I did some work around the house. Let's see. I started doing the weed killing for the neighborhood. And I have more to do this year because I have to do both sides of my townhouse complex. And I know last year they didn't even touch the other side, which means it is going to be awful. So that's going to be a project that's going to build up over the next that's a couple months because I'm not wasting my weekends doing stuff because I'm like one of the only couple people left on the association. I hate being on that thing. I did get the ramp rats in. If you didn't see that, I did work on a video last night and today, which will air tomorrow morning. And if you were watching any of my Big Bad Workshop stuff, you probably have an idea of what I was putting together. I actually put time into this one. I know I was told I never edit anything. It's still all iPhone edit, but I'll tell you what, adding pictures and words are hard. It takes up a lot of time. So I should have started earlier yesterday, but I started late last night as I normally do. And I just wanted to get the recordings done, which I was lucky enough to get all the recordings done. Then today after work, I put it together. So it will go up tomorrow. And I actually give thanks to some websites and some specific YouTubers, if you can believe that. Wreck Ship, I mean, don't we all? Anyway, man, there is 62 people watching right now. So please, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe. Tell all your friends and your family. Don't tell people that aren't like fans of toys, because I don't need yahoos like that. They just come in and they ruin everything. No offense to the people that would be doing that, but let's say hi to everyone before we get too many people, and then I ramble on for like 15 minutes trying to say hi to every single person that is in here. But let's start off with Sabir jumping in here saying good evening, Lawrence, and all APWT. We got Tony's Figs, we got Paul Morales, Blue Barnella. They should have got your stickers, or you should be getting them soon. I did ship them out a couple days ago, so if you haven't gotten them yet, they should be coming. I did not forget this time. Snow Wolf is here. GI Bro, who has the best guns in the community. D Crusty Old Crow saying, here for the goodbyes toast. Blue Barnella quickly saying, so if this is the end of the line, does that mean I don't have to sell a kidney to avoid the habit anymore? I keep saying that if they kill the line, they probably will just bring back another one, but I don't. We'll talk about it. Cal Shave or Callister jumping in here, cooking with Eric, has joined the chat. Beardy McBeardus in Plastic Fantastics, who will be my guest, well, one of my two guests this Thursday for the drive to Joe Fest. We'll talk about that in a little bit. SCS Dog jumping in here saying aloha. We have David R. Nolan, which makes us Toy Tube official. Whoo, Viper Scout, who I have to say thank you very much for joining once again on Punk's Pit last Friday. We have 80s Joe's, who has become a big part of this community and big part of this chat. Love having you in here. Thank you so much for jumping in and on all the videos too. You're always making comments, so it is greatly appreciated. We have Wolverine. I know it's such a stupid like thing, but it's just so cool. It's just really cool. Checkpoint Alpha has joined the chat. Also, we have Action Figs, one of my moderators, who was also on my show last Thursday and who will be my my roommate once again this year for Joe Fest. I'm excited. Cobra Commander is also here. We have Ultra Match, who is always leaving some interesting comments and a great part of this community somewhere in my chat. He's always good. Alex Martinez, Rekship, who I already highlighted, but let's be honest, we'll give him an ahoy matey. NorCal Voodoo Toy Box. Getting way ahead of myself. Stu for Lunch saying there's no stopping what can't be stopped. No ended what can't be ended. Long live G.I. Joe Classified. Hi, Ken. I have a feeling Hi, Ken is going to be said a lot on my. I think it's going to be said a lot on my video dropping tomorrow. I'll just leave it at that. Russell Lemieux is here. We have Allison Troy saying HOAs are a scam. Yeah, the scam is that I have to do all this fucking work. That's the scam. Again, I'm in a townhouse, so the scam is what we pay and us trying to get it raised, because it definitely needs to be raised. Let's see here. We have Scott, not Bob. Say I'm kind of pissed. I did all the work on my HAL, and now Hasbro is doing it, and it looks like mine. If the computer which I designed is added, I'm gonna complain again. Well, I haven't seen any pictures of the HAL, so I don't know where you're seeing pictures of it. But if you are, please send them to me, because I would definitely like to see it. If they're even doing one. HK Viper has joined us also. There we have Mr. Wonderful, who I still wait for my foot pegs for my Hexa stacks. Maybe one day I will be able to actually review that stand before everyone else comes out with stands that are very similar. GI Jetman is here. We have Extra Creepy, who is probably the closest person watching this. He lives somewhere in my area. Hell, I probably crossed paths with him at Modern Skate once or twice before. Sean Forrester is here. Grizzle Horn. Did I say hi to Bartholomew? I think I did, but I'll say it again. The Lost Rangers and Hola Amigos. That's about as much Spanish as I can speak. The only Spanish I ever learned was through Dora the Explorer. 3-star draw. Cooter's Garage. Quick story. Our son Andrew, his name was going to be Diego. I may have told this before. His name was going to be Diego. We liked it, his mom and I. And when we were telling her sister-in-law, when she said, have you guys thought of names? And we said, yeah, if it's a girl, Diego, if it's a boy. And she said, no. Now, I love Beth. And I was like, who the fuck are you going to tell me what I can name my kid? She's like, you are not naming him Diego. And we went, excuse us? And she's like, go, Diego, go. And we were like, she's like, Dora has a cousin named Diego. He has his own show, and this is the song, and we have to hear it. He'll never hear the end of it. And we were like, yep, we are not naming him Diego. So that's my little Dora story. Menhuza has joined us. We have Lego Star Wars Kid here, Stephen K. Let's see, is there anyone else? We're coming to the end, I think, of all the people who have joined. 73 people watching. I know you're all waiting to talk about the classified. Is it dead or not? Well, we'll find out. Scott Not Bob said, can always go back to making customs. That is very true. And there's more than enough. Hey, you know what? If the line was to die, there are more than enough toy companies making wonderful toys, some being military, some being like a mix of stuff, that it's not that hard to just kind of enjoy other things. But I love G.I. Joe, going back to when I was a kid. So I would be very sad if it went away in this iteration. War Chest Full of Toys is here, probably sending some false or maybe not false information to the Viper Island, who won't use it because, God forbid he doesn't realize what's going on. MTC Collects is here. I think we're about done. We're almost done. I have not seen Matthew Matson. We have Stanley Everhart jumping in here. Let's see. Did I say hi to SCS Dog? I don't think I did, or maybe I did a couple of times. This is what happens. Trust a Screamer or True Star Screamer saying your question is about Joe dying. The real question is, what is Boss Fight Toys, Boss Fight Studios, going to be cooking? I'm interested. I've said for a while, I think that Boss Fight make really good figures. I think their plastics have always been really good. And what Lenny can do, what Corey can do. And again, I was always under the assumption he is the painter. Not that that's diminishing what he does, but I don't think he's in design. But it's really interesting. I will say this: I did ask Lenny if Boss Fight is going to be acquiring the G.I. Joe line, and he said no. So that is unfortunate for everyone. Boss Fight will not be acquiring the G.I. Joe line. Lunchbox Killa is here. Woo! All right. Let's see. I think that's it. I think we finally made it to the end, which is good because 77 people watching. Thank you so much. Anyway, let's see what else do I have in here. Okay, the Ramp Rats video went up. The Ramp Rats are really cool. I'm not gonna lie, they are having this fans hobby not Fang right here. It really worked out because they can put the canopy on it, and my head canon for the whole canopy, being that Cobra could not engineer properly this new Fang to make the canopy open down, so someone has to insert it on it if they want it, and then obviously when they land they have to eject it, and then they're going to be flying without the canopy, so then you still end up without it. Although I may have got another Fang in today, maybe, I don't know. We'll talk about that later. No, actually, we won't talk about it. I'll be talking to someone else about it later, and we'll see if you guys ever see it. We have Cypher63 here saying, evening all, this is Billy Butch. Change my name, and you looks like you took the Santa Cruz logo. Correct me if I am wrong, but it definitely looks like the Santa Cruz logo. I'm sorry, into mystery. I almost said mystery machine. Yes. Trust is trust. Trust is trust. Trust a screamer. A ramp rat's like a ring. Like a ramp rat's like ring rats. Yes, they chase after all of the the Cobra troopers, and the Cobra officers are the ones, like if they can bag a Cobra officer, then they're in heaven. Wolverine says, "Watch your Not Fang review. Great video. I'm on the fence now for it. Where did you get it for such a good deal?" It was called. It's in there because somebody else asked me. It's not up there now. It's basically a Transformer site, but what, and we didn't know this when Fans Hobby first did um the not Skyhawk. Everyone said that their quality is really good because they do a lot of these knockoff Transformers. So that's where I got it from. It's I don't have it in the video, I don't think, but it is in one of the comments. Um, let's see if I have it up here. It's not up there anymore. They do have the Not All Striker for $90 though. I'm not sure if I still have it. I try not to delete it at all. It is called Shows Store. So SHOWZSTORE.com. And it's a Transformer site, but they do have the Fans Hobby stuff. So if you're able to get it for $70, I'm not upset about that at all. That is for sure. Tidarium Hanger jumping in here saying the line is dead like He-Man 2 years ago. No. That He-Man line was supposed to die roughly probably about 4 years ago, right? It was way longer than 2 years. You were being nice saying only 2 years. Stroking out. What are you talking about? I'm doing fine. I'm killing it right now. Just because your show is a little bit slower than what this is known for, I do go too fast. Yeah, if anyone remembers, a while back there was a guy that he once worked at Mattel, and he kept saying that that the Mattel, the Master Universe line is dead. Now, I think we all said, like, if you say something long enough, like if you say the classified line is dead and you say it for the next 10 years, there's a good chance you might eventually be right. But he said, like, Mattel's losing the rights to He-Man, and people are like, they own it. You literally used to work there. But he had all this stuff. Like, again, it's still going strong. And a matter of fact, we'll actually have a little bit of it, just a little bit to talk about today. But anyway, if you check that out, check it out. Like I said, I did work on another video that will go out tomorrow morning. It's not a review, but it is how to create some things I know a lot of people are excited for. I did get home today, and the Joe Fest 2026 stickers came in. You see that? Let's see. Right there. I think it works. There it is. That is the Joe Fest sticker. There's only 150, so obviously I'm going to keep a couple of them. I'm not sending these out. If you're at Joe Fest, one each. And whatever I come home with pretty much is going to stay with me. But for the most part, I will have the other stickers. I'll have the Circle of Jerks stickers. I'll also have my logo, Punk with Toy stickers to give out. But if you're at Joe Fest, ask me for one of these. If I don't give it to you, I became a pro in 24 about slapping those stickers in people's hands. It was, I felt like I was like the biggest shill. Last year, which I bought 700 stickers. It all had to do with breaking down the deal that I got to get a certain thing. Again, long story. So I still have a lot of those stickers, and I'm ordering more. But anyway, only for Joe Fest. So if you're not going to be there, hey, you can go buy one on the site, because guess what? I do have up now if anyone is interested. I probably should have had this already ready to go. I guess this isn't going to work. But what I actually do have right now is the shirts I've always talked about. I do have merch. So if you are interested, here you go. And you can see right now the Joe Fest 2026 shirt is available. You can get mugs. You can order the sticker if you want. That's the only way you can get it. If you want this, if you like it, if something that interests you, it will be taken down when I get back from Disney. So roughly a week and a half, 2 weeks after Joe Fest. This is coming down. So if you're interested, you want something like this. The other shirts obviously will still stay up there. The Punk with Toys shirt, Circle of Jerks, all that other good stuff. There are more shirts. If you go to the next page, I think there's another page. Where the hell's all my stuff at? But anyway, if you are interested, it is up there. Here is the link to it, and there are links in the videos when you go to merch. So if you are interested, that's how you can get some stuff. And if you buy it, I appreciate it. And I'll say thank you very much. I'll take a picture with you. Then I'll put it in my little picture book for the next year. But anyway, if you are interested, there is the Joe Fest 2026. Again, it is the Roman Duke. And I think it's something I'm going to try and do something different every single year. Obviously, I'm not going to wear the 2026 every year, but change it up a little bit. Darren says, someone remind me to get more stickers made sometime before the end of the... Let me tell you guys, all right? I know a lot of people look at me about how I do the channel. I do try and run the channel more like a business. Again, this is for fun, all right? I make enough to support my habit. All right? But I try and run this in a way like a business. And what I mean by that is, I don't know why that alarm's on. And the fact of the matter is, I made sure that I had my stickers, which I don't have any around me, before 24. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is good. I showed everyone that I got them. Also, I want to say these stickers smell really bad. Like, I had to, there's a stack of 150. I had to move them away because the smell was honestly so strong that I just couldn't take it. One does not smell like this. But anyway, it's all about the promotion, right? Like, you want to grow your brand, and the stickers are really the easiest way. They're fairly cheap. Sticky Brand will not let you forget that you need to order because they are on you like you wouldn't believe. Again, for like $35, you can get 100 stickers, and you can get other deals and that's through Sticky Brand, who is probably already starting to email me. Probably starting to email all of you. I know Tony's starting to get emails right now. The guys like Tony completely forgot to bring his stickers in 25. And I will have this stuff packed well before. Again, if I can do stuff to grow the brand, to grow the people that put eyes on this, the reviews that I'm doing that allow me to continue to do this and have fun, I'm never going to ask you guys for money, right? I know people give super chats, and that's great. There are a lot of people that are out there, and if you do this, that is fine. But you know my feelings. Like, I'm not going to do a GoFundMe to get anywhere. These are vacations. So for me, it's putting in the hard work. And all I'm asking from you guys more than anything is to watch the stuff that I put out there. That's what helps grow, and it doesn't cost you guys anything. Again, the people that become channel members, super chats, buy the merch and stuff like that is greatly appreciated, especially the people that use the Amazon links that I put out. It is greatly appreciated, and it definitely does help. But that's the best way to support the channel, is just watch the videos, throw it up there, get a sticker. Again, if you want other stickers, if you're going to Joe Fest, don't ask for the stickers right now. Don't say, hey, can you send me out stickers? No, I'll give them to you at Joe Fest. But if you're not going to Joe Fest and you want to Circle the Jerks or Punk with Toys, shoot me a message either on um, a punkwithtoys at gmail.com or Instagram. A punk with toys at gmail.com is usually the best. Although, as I've been told, I don't check it all that much, but it's there and I don't lose it. Steve Chomp or Ted Knight jumping in saying, "What's up, Punk?" Scott Not Bob says, "Have a question. What is the best, cheapest machine to produce stickers, decals?" That I don't know. I want to make my stuff slicker, but cannot justify 20 to 30 a pop for custom ones from Buddy on eBay. I have no idea. Maybe someone in the chat can help you. I don't try and make any of my own stuff. All right. Or check around your area. A lot of people that are doing like screen printing, those businesses, they do stickers, so you can probably get them fairly cheap. But again, if you look for deals like on Sticky Brand, you can get a whole bunch, and yeah, they add up. Now, again, if you're giving out stickers like this and you're not getting, you're not doing a channel, you're not getting follows back. Yeah, you're right. You're kind of you're growing something and you want people to know who you are. But in the end, you're just putting money out there so that I can see exactly how that can kind of cost it, be expensive. Darren says, "I'm literally out of my stickers. I think I have 2 left and one's going on my car." I love when people put my stickers on their car. You know what I won't put on my car? My sticker or anyone else's. Russell Lemieux says, when is he going to talk about He-Man? A little bit. Richard Sampson jumping in and saying, "Salute, Punk." Woo! All right. MC Armaza, go fund yourself. Exactly. And again, there are people that do it, and I'm friends with some of these people. I'm acquaintances with some of them. I just don't feel that it is the right way to do it. And that's me personally. I don't want to speak for anyone that I've talked to. They can speak for themselves, but I've spoken to specific people, and we all agree, like, hey, if you can't afford to go, you can't afford to go. It's just how it is, right? It's a vacation. And I think there is a place for those types of revenue streams. I just don't think it's for going to a show for anything like that. Just me. Everyone's different. Ronnie Trick Shop saying, "The line is dead. Sell your stuff." Ronnie becomes classified Ronnie, and then the line dies. Go figure, right? Same time, Toy Shane has joined us. Woohoo! All right. Let's see. Is there anyone else? Woody. Is Woody here? I didn't see Woody. I should have done this. Woody, is it true your stickers will be scratch and sniff? What the hell is Woody? Is Woody here? You know what? I'm going to do this just for Woody in case if he is here. All right. I've entertained myself enough. What else do I have to talk about? I literally write down stuff, believe it or not. Oh, yeah, this week I watched the Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix. It was good. It was sad. Hulk Hogan has lied about so many things in his life, and you can watch videos where they talk about it. I did see someone else quickly up here. Where did I see that? Tac Toys jumping in and saying, "Punk with Toys reviews are great, man. I always enjoy them." Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. And Clint Jorgensen jumping in here. I had to explain to his wife how to pronounce their last name. Kind of embarrassing. All right. This family is able to adopt not only one, but about to adopt, I think, a second child. And he couldn't even explain to his wife how to pronounce his last name, Jorgensen. Very sad. Not as sad as the Hulk Hogan documentary. The Hulk Hogan documentary, it's sad because they were supposed to do another season or like another 4 episodes, and I think the last 20 minutes or so um, is they say to him, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we come back in like 45 days?" I think it was like that, and discuss what's been going on or whatever. And he passed away. He had complications in surgery, and it's pretty much what killed him. And it's sad because you know you're watching this documentary, and it's not like this was a 90-year-old guy. This was larger than life, the immortal Hulk Hogan. And I do think that he was pretty open and honest. Um, I still think there were a few truths that maybe weren't the truth. Um, there's a lot of things that they didn't touch on. Uh, they don't really touch on, like, he had a total falling out with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, who was like his best friend. Um, but to hear about Linda and what she was doing, oh, that woman's a see you next Tuesday, you know. And then she kind of did the share thing. She kind of did the share. Do you remember when Sonny Bono hit a fucking tree and died? Yeah, he hit a tree and died skiing. Cher made it all about her, and it was like, dude, you're not even his wife anymore. He's remarried. Hulk Hogan was remarried, and Linda kind of did that thing, kind of started making it all about her. I still loved him, and like, shut the fuck up, man. You were a bitch. His daughter's not in it. And I heard an interview with her, and she's actually way more down to earth than I think people would think. So if you get a chance to watch it, I think it's really good. And they go pretty quickly, man. They do go pretty quickly. I do have to say, but like like his relationship with Vince McMahon, oh man, so it was truly like the older brother thing. Uh, Hearing Hulk Hogan talk about his older brother that I think he was like 8 years older, and he was in the motorcycle gangs, and he was a druggie, and he showed up and he said, I need money to go to rehab. And he gave him the money rather than taking him. And he ended up ODing. And he's like, I can't talk about it. Like, he got really choked up about it. But again, it's an interesting one. Now, I watched the Vince McMahon one. There wasn't anything that I didn't know about Vince McMahon that we saw on that. And this was very similar to that. But I think getting to open up about the Hogan Knows Best and all that other stuff, it was good. It's worth the probably about 5 hours that you'll watch it, though. So anyway, whew, okay. True, True Star Screamer says, I took a break from Crimson I took a break from Crimson Desert for a fart joke. I questioned my choices. You're here. You should be questioning your choices to begin with. Dominic Johnson jumping in and saying, "Hey everyone, yeah, I like the Hulk documentary. Jimmy Hart is the go." Okay, I always said, and I stand by what I said. I never understood Jimmy Hart with Hulk Hogan, right? Hulk Hogan didn't need a manager. I always thought of Jimmy Hart as a bad guy manager. Holy shit, Jimmy Hart's mansion. Can I just get a tour of that thing? First off, you see it from the outside, and it looks like it's like some fucking. Like, it looks like it's on a fucking street, like just a regular street. Cars are freaking whipping by, and then when you see him in it, you're like, how much fucking money did you make, and what you invested in? Because I need to invest in whatever it is that you invested in. It was crazy. Clinton Jorgensen, not everyone can be humble like Bret Hart regarding their wrestling exploits. Bret Hart proved to be another asshole once again in that. Like, when you hear him talk, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, he starts off decent, and then he just starts ragging on Hogan. It's like, wow, I wonder if he looks back at it. He doesn't give a shit, dude. That guy is so full of himself. Devil Dog jumping in and saying, "Hey guys, glad to be here tonight and glad to have you here. Whew, all right. We have TD Trooper Troy jumping in and saying, "What's up, my dudes?" I see so many of these people that are going to be at Joe Fest, and I'm so excited because Joe Fest is the bomb. Gun Bunnies Customs. You might get a little shout out tomorrow too, in the video that I will be the video that I have coming up. What is this? Commander Unicron. Greetings from Planet Cobra. What the hell? Wait, who the hell is this guy?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
Wow. I don't think I've seen you before. If I have, I apologize. And if you're new, welcome. Great to have you. Ben Jose saying, Sonny Bono helped me out. Sonny Bono helped me put out an electric fire in the back during my birthday at work. He instantly pulled off the explosive leather jacket to smother the fire. I think I'm missing something. Chaz, the guru. I came here to make sure everyone knows classified is dead. Good night. Well, according to your memes, they definitely are. And then I see people taking fucking shots at you. Like so I get a so someone. Okay. So I don't know if you've seen it because someone sent me a screenshot. It's on the 3POA in their chat. Someone posted that picture of you. I'm sorry, that picture of the Jessica Jones with the purple man or whatever his name is. With it says like boss fight looking at Hasbro and she's looking like straight ahead. And someone says like some joker put this up here. It should be Valiverse. And it was like, where the fuck have you been? This has nothing to do with Valiverse. This has to do with they've just plucked two people from the G.I. Joe team, and they have Corey, who they let go like 2 years ago. Ugh, man, those fucking brainwashed people are fucking living in a different goddamn world. And True Starscreamer, I'm gonna say, you know one of them really fucking well. Anyway, sorry. A toy kind of moves jumping in here saying Monday Night Punk. We got Billy Boys Toys jumping in here saying hello Punk, hello chat. Hope everyone is doing well. You realize I haven't even got off the names yet. I'm still saying hi to everyone. Anyway, I think we've hit about everyone in here right now. They say hi. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Oh, Skunkworks Studios, cannot miss this guy. Anyway, 111 people watching right now. Please hit the like button if you haven't yet. All right. Quickly, big shout out. Thank you to Krusty O'Crow and 3-Star Draw for having me on the Backyard Battlefield last Wednesday. I normally don't do anything on Wednesdays, so I was free. Crow was totally scared to do a show on his own. He said, Punk, please, I need your help. I need you to be there because Darren doesn't know if he's coming. And I said, you know what? For you, I'll do it. And I did it for him. And I believe it's the greatest. I think he got the greatest numbers ever on any live stream that he's ever done. I have no idea. Anyway, big thank you to them for having me on there. Big thank you to Ed Schumacher, the owner and promoter of Joe Fest, and my moderator, Action Figs. The other Ed, I'm not going to say his last name because no one knows it. Action Figs, for joining me for the kickoff to the drive to Joe Fest. And if anyone wants to know why I called it the drive to Joe Fest, is because idiots like me are driving there. And this will be my 3rd year, and I can't wait because it's the most fun I have all year as a collector, as a fan of toys and shit. It is so much fun, man. It really is. So thank you to Ed. He's given me his time numerous times. He lets us in. You see what Joe Fest really means to him. Again, it means so much to him for what he has helped cultivate and create. I know David T. Allen was also in the chat. I mean, it means a lot to him. It means so much to so many people. But this guy really, he's doing this to keep the friendships going. And again, there's a reason why Ed and myself, this guy right here, Plastic Fantastic, Tony is flying in, Zen is going back, B's Battleground is going to be there. There's a reason why some of these guys are flying across the pond. It's seriously, it is so much fun. And if you don't know anyone, it doesn't matter, because we're all there for the same reason. We're all there, like-minded people, to sit there and talk, not just GI Joe, but talk toys. And that's truly what this whole community is supposed to be about. So thank you to them. Also, thank you to everyone who joined me on Punk's Pit. If you don't know, usually the second Friday every month, we do Punk's Pit. That is for members only. We usually have the same people on, but I do like to bring on new people just to kind of get some new blood, get a new voice going. So if you're a channel member, tune in. I am going to try and work on some more channel member stuff. At least maybe it'll stick around for a couple months, a couple weeks before it goes live to everyone. So, and then we have Killa Z. Punk, been a long time, my friend. Lenny might be gone, but companies plan for years ahead, not months. Joe fans, we got at least 3 years pre-planned. They actually have through 27. 27, so a year and a half they actually have planned. But I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm definitely not going to. I'm not going to disagree with what you're saying. Again, something we will discuss for sure once we get through the news. And if anyone knows the platform of the show, I do the opening, fun monologue. I go through the toys, the news, and then we get to the wonderful, wonderful topic, which sometimes I think is awesome in my head. And then I'm done in like 2 minutes because there's no one to really bounce things off of. It's just my own voice and the voices in my head. Tomorrow there will be no Circle of Jerks. From my understanding, every single person that can possibly do it and host the channel is not available. Baldy has something to do. Spec is doing interviews for his work, and Tony is going on with GI Customs. I don't want to say anything bad because I really like Chaz. I've had him on my show. But he goes on Tuesday, so I guess Tony was already going to do that. I guess it just worked out. And I think Terry's still on the show. I don't know. And I thought about doing my own show at that time just to keep it going. But then I was kind of like, you know what? I can use it 2 days off of doing any type of streams. I don't need to be on stream all the time. But anyway, that's just how it goes. All right. Doesn't mean I might not do one. I just don't plan on it. Okay. This Thursday, the Drive to Joe Fest, it starts episode 2. I'm sorry. It continues. Episode 2, the Drive to Joe Fest. This time we will have Debo, DNA, Derek, and Plastic Fantastic Michael. I met them in 24 there. Debo is a hardcore, drummer, right? Straight Edge. Both of them are doing 3D prints. I know this for a fact because I have a bunch of the 3D stuff. But I'm going to have them on to talk about what Joe Fest really means to them. What Joe Fest really means to them. And, they have a friendship going back to when they were children. And I know I've talked to them both individually on Thursday with a friend, and they both told the story, but I think having them both together and telling the story about how they got back together as friends, it was just luck of the draw. I think it'll be fun to talk to them about it. So looking forward to that this Thursday. Carson from 3D Joe's will not be at Joe Fest. Now, a lot of people are very upset about this. That means that um, Operation Recall, I'm not sure if they're still going to be there, if someone else is going to be. But the biggest problem is this now leaves a hole for our fill-in moderator that we used for 2 years in a row. So Ed and I, during Joe Fest, are going to start taking interviews on who will be our fill-in moderator until this guy finally shows up. Matthew Madsen, okay, just got cut up 3 times. Had to watch Nikki Nicole from Savage Crucibles on the Raw Dogs. Oh, dude, you did not just fucking cheat on me with the fucking 2 people that decided, hey, I have to put my shows on directly against both of his shows. That is fucking cold, Matthew. Really fucking cold. You could have watched that on the fucking replay. Woo, my gosh. That hurts. That hurts. Now maybe I'll find an actual replacement for my moderator when hearing stuff like this. But anyway, that's what Ed and I will be doing the whole trip of Joe Fest, is trying to find a replacement for our replacement moderator to take a picture of. So just know, if you look anything like Matthew, we might be asking you to, well, fill in. Dude, no one goes to DFW. No one goes to DFW and no one cares. Anyway, yes, I'll kick him out. Billy Boy Story saying you can almost see the smoke coming out of Punk's ear. No, I've said it numerous times. I like both Jerk and Gaines, or else I wouldn't even bring their names up. I like both of them, and I've said before, dude, if Monday is what works for you, then go for it. You know, if Thursday is what works for you, it just kind of sucks that it's both those fucking days. But whatever. It's whatever. Because Ed and I are now looking for a fill-in moderator. If you look like Matthew, first, thanks for filling in. But also, sorry. Oh, my gosh. That makes me laugh. Hi, it's me is here, but I'm not talking about him. Anyway, okay. A couple things. I saw this on Toy News Eye quickly, and I don't think that this is a real thing. I mean, obviously it was brought up, but a group of Mattel shareholders push for possible sale to Hasbro. Now, if anyone was a wrestling fan, they know what happens. They know what happened when Vince McMahon bought WCW. The plan was thrown away. There was no competition, and it was good for a while, but eventually it kind of hit rock bottom. This would be awful for anyone that is, looking for something different, that they were trying to leverage against each other, because then you just have all small toy companies. But basically, a group of small shareholders that hold like 4% overseas, they're pushing for it. Now, I don't know how true this is. It is showing up here. Toy News Eye doesn't just throw things out there unless it actually has some merit to it, or there's actually some news to talk about. But if you go ahead and you look at this, and this might be one of those things where you might see this. I wouldn't put too much stock into this. Mattel, I do believe, is by far the second largest toy company, and for Hasbro to acquire them would take an awful lot. So this did just kind of pop up, and it's just kind of an interesting blurb that you're seeing. But could you imagine Hasbro buying Mattel? Now they have He-Man, or they would have He-Man. They would have, the DC license. So now we could know that they would match up with Marvel Legends. How amazing would that be? But yeah, I don't think that's happening. Into Mystery says number 3. What is number 1? And don't tell me Lego, because Lego is just Lego. But what is number 1 and number 2? Because Hasbro's number 1. But I believe Lego technically is bigger, but Lego is just Lego. They don't create anything else. Matthew says Savage Crucible has a drop figure for DFW. So many go to DFW. Like all the creators and voice actors of G.I. Joe. Who the fuck cares? I mean, I keep telling you, where are all your friends at? Matt, let me explain something to you. We all go to Joe Fest because our friends are there. It's the time we no longer have to virtual hug. We get to give real hugs. No, it's cool. I know you're into that. I've said so many. I don't care about autographs. Like that's not my thing. Although I will have my book for people to sign. It's not really autographs. It's a history. Joe Fan 84 has joined us. We have James jumping in and say, so at this point, I'm assuming we will never see color change Zartan. We will never see color change Xanda or in Zarana. Well, James, first let's start with a.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
I don't think we're gonna see those anyway. If you have color change Zartan, he's not really good. He has to be cold to change color. It's. I understand what they were trying to do, and you're still at an early stage of the line at that time. But it's to me, it never worked. That didn't work. If it was color changing because of the actual sun or UV, that would have made way more sense. But I don't think we're gonna get those. And if we do, it'll probably be a different format, or maybe they did find a color changing paint. And before anyone says that, hey, you know what? Super 7 did it. Man, I've seen how Super 7 does stuff. So Lego, Bandai, Namco, Mattel, Hasbro, Spin Master. Are you saying in that order? How can Bandai be? I mean, unless they own other things. I don't know. I'll just take your word for it. I'm not doing any research into it. Anyway, so I want to talk something quickly, and that is about my Xania. And obviously, most of you saw the review where she literally just fell apart because what everyone's saying, like they didn't sonic weld or something happened with sonic welding, right? Which is disappointing. But again, I sent it back. I got another one, sent it back, whatever. And I watched people use that. And this is the same thing that happened back in the day where I had a Valaverse figure that the exact same thing happened. The leg literally broke off. It was taken care of. There was absolutely no issues whatsoever. This is when I collected Valaverse. I got the new waist. It was sent out to me. I did a video. I put it together, showed how everything was done, all that good stuff. But other people took that and ran with it because they had a problem with the Action Force line. People kind of did the same thing with Xania. They talked about how, a reviewer did it. It literally fell apart. This is the shoddy, the shoddy quality and QC of Hasbro. Mind you, a lot of these companies that we're buying toys from are using the same factories. This is nothing new. So there's a false narrative because I have not seen one other person have a problem with Xania being broken. This was a one-off. Now, I didn't have a problem with Zarana with her arm, but a bunch of other people did. That's more of an issue than what we saw with, my Xania literally just falling apart. The second one that I got had no problems whatsoever. So there's a false narrative I think that people wanted to use. And don't get me wrong, I've done this long enough. This YouTube, I knew putting her there with just her waist and the rest of her body being there, I knew that would generate clicks. Now, it's not clickbait because technically there was a payoff. What I showed you was exactly what happened. But it's the whole story. And I did do a short when I got the new one to show you, hey, I don't have any issues with this. If this was a problem, we saw a whole bunch of these doing this, I'd say, you know what? Yeah, this is a QC issue. But this was a one off as far as I can see. I have not had one other person, and so many people told me that they bought theirs. Theirs was great. Now they were worried. So be careful because, again, we'll always see the bad things, and those are the things we will always remember. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's like this in life. I think we all can agree with that. But the truth is, I didn't. Not everyone had the problem. It was a one-off. There was more issues with CoverGirl, and for a while, all the female figures with their arms popping off. So, just look at that, think about that, and know that if you're gonna use that, and I'm gonna see it, I'm gonna call you out on it. And I did call someone who I know is a fan of the show. He makes comments, but it wasn't an issue. So I don't really have an issue at all, and the other one's perfectly fine. Quickly, NorCal Voodoo says, I've seen other Zanyas with defects in recent weeks. I agree, it's a limited thing overall. Exactly, and it's really about how a company takes care of it. Big Bad Workshop, they've taken care of both mine super quickly. So shit's gonna happen, but I'm not seeing a rash of these. We've seen it with other companies, or they've had a rash of something, and again, that type of stuff happens. But there are so many that have shown up that I don't think it's a problem. Stark Rhodes jumping in here and quickly.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
Stark Rose, and the second I saw my Zorana, I say my Zorana is fine. The arm is going to fall off. Well, you don't have to say that it's fine. You just don't have to say that there's a whole bunch of shitty ones. But yeah, that's all that I'm saying. But yeah. Scott Not Bob says the shit is too soft. I worry that mold will grow in the plastic. That mold will grow in the plastic, like the OG Princess Leia figures getting that purple spotting. They've talked about that. Like, that is something that has been rectified. That is something that all companies have rectified for the most part. Maybe not ones coming out of Colombia. But they've rectified that. So I don't worry about. Like, they've changed their plastic on everything when it comes to, and then again, in general, just the way the plastics are done. Charlie Braun saying, Punk, I'm in a dilemma. I don't know if I should collect retro classified 6-inch or Super 7 Ultimates. I need to get rid of one toy line. Well, first off, I don't know why anyone would collect the Super 7 Ultimates. Other than you can get them for $10 after a year because no one wants them. Dude, I'd stick with classified. So I stick with classified. Billy Boy says, when you think of how many are produced, it's really a small percentage that has issues. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. I saw another video talking about how Valaverse is crushing classified with what they're doing. And tell me you don't understand corporate America without telling me you don't understand corporate America. There is a reason why Valaverse keeps their prices down, or have brought their prices down. And they're the only ones, I'll give them that. One is corporate America. You can say it's greed. There's also a lot more people that they're paying. And yes, they're about a bottom line. The dollar is the bottom line, and that's what they want to get through. But when you look at how many, HISS drivers were made, it's probably more than any one Valaverse figure, any one Operation Monster Force figure that was done. And that's the HasLab, because they're doing that high of quantity. So that's one of those things. And I'm not talking about like a second version or whatever. I'm talking about like one specific version. There's probably more of that HISS driver than any of these smaller companies of one specific figure, just because of their MOQ is going to be way different. Because we're talking, and people say a 40-year brand. A 40-year brand is a real American hero. G.I. Joe is a 60+ year brand. It's not going anywhere. Now, we'll classified. Well, that's what we'll talk about in a little bit. Andrew Davis jumping in there saying, I mean, Super 7 did color change twice with Lionel and Zartan. Hasbro just lazy. Again, they have different standards that they have to abide by. Lenny specifically talked about it. He specifically talked about why they can't use that paint to color change in the sun. And it was a while ago. And there are specific things. And so before we get into the news, let's talk about this. And this is a real thing. So if you look at these crates right here, look at these crates, there's holes on the side. And the skis for the swamp skier fit in absolutely perfect. And then you can hook this to the back. Now, this made me ask, hey, can I foresee something else coming? And he said, they costed this out. So I specifically put the holes on the side so you could do this. So I did this picture. And, people said that looks stupid, whatever, making comments about it. And I fully understand that, right? I fully understand that. And it is true, it does look stupid, but I feel like people forget what it actually looked like when you took the thing apart and threw it in the back. It was a mess. It was a mess. And I don't know why Matthew, Ed209 said it first, then Punk. Oh, and then now you sound like Baldy, who Baldy wanted to make sure that he knew that I got it too. That's cool. I mean, I don't have to be first. But anyway, so this was meant to be this way. So I could fully see them doing a retro Zartan with Swamp Skier, because we know we're going to get it again, with the crate and something that they can tow. And again, this thing doesn't really break down. We also saw a lot of people complaining that they got, that's why I try to be nice on Facebook, that they have, let's say, 3 skis for the left. And people told them, just take the pin out and swap it. I shouldn't have to do that. No. You shouldn't have to glue something back together. To push a fucking pin out, which a 3-year-old has the fucking strength to do it, is not fixing something that Hasbro did. Okay? That's the issue. Like, you're not fixing something. You're going, oh shit, they put the pin on the wrong side. No big deal. So, that's all you have to do. But like I said, this is just one of those things. It's not really that big of a deal. You're able to just kind of swap it around and do what needs to be done. But this here is specifically designed so you can pop that thing on there. When I was told that it was costed out, it makes me think maybe they won't do it. But for $100, I mean, you could see them definitely doing it. And I know a lot of people missed out on the retro Zartan. So maybe you want to do it like that. So anyway, that's that for right now. That's that. All right. Let's say hi to Dark Eons here, jumping in said they didn't thinking that. I'm not really sure what that meant. And then Dirty Knives jumping in saying, Punk, where did you get the Zartan's 50 cal? That's actually a Valiverse gun. It's one of the few Valiverse things that I still have. That is the Valiverse gun. I don't know where the bipod is though. There's the bipod for it. But yeah, that's actually one of the few Valiverse things that I still use. But yeah, that answers that. I don't remember what weapons. I don't remember what weapons pack that is. But I'll have a review of it. So if you go through my Valiverse playlist, it's in one of the weapons packs, and you'll find it because I did a review on it. I know that. Anyway, whew, that was a lot. I need to take a quick break, so you're going to hear from this guy.
And now back to Cobra News Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have received word that our field correspondent, Scrap Iron, is on scene at M.A.S.K Industries, and he has interviewed a few eyewitnesses and forwarded those statements over to us as he tries to get closer for a better vantage point on the fire. So let's take a listen to these eyewitness statements and see if we can discover what has happened here tonight.
All right, so I'm out here just ripping this mini ramp that's made by M.A.S.K Industries. Don't ask, I don't understand why they sponsored it. But anyway, I hear this huge explosion, and I hear all these people yelling and screaming that this thing's on fire, and they tell me to call 911, so I call 911. We got the ESU police here, and we got the firefighters, and wait a minute, don't you work for M.A.S.K Industry and the Iron Grenadiers too?
Oh yeah, that's a wicked fire, eh? Good bonfire for burning the moose on. Kind of reminds me, it reminds me of the one that we did at Justin Bieber every year at Stratford Festival. Just as much smoke, big flame. We do that to keep Sasquatch away. What'd you do yours for, eh?
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, how you doing? I was walking down the street, hanging out, minding my own business. About to sit down on the park bench here and just enjoy my meal here. I got a nice little delicious lunch made by my wife, my lovely wife. She's a great cook. Sometimes not the best, but listen. We all suffice, right? And I'm sitting here on the bench about to open up my lunch box after a long day of working with construction workers. If you haven't noticed, I got this hard hat on, right? And I'm sitting here chilling. And next thing you know, I smell burning. And I go, what is that? And then the explosion, the loud, boom! I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? What's going on? You sound like Aaron Judge cracked a home run. I'm freaking out. I look up, and M.A.S.K Industries is on fire. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? The building just blew up. It's on fire now. And no one can have any answers. Nobody has any answers. Next thing you know, the fire shows up, the cops show up. Nobody knows what's going on. But damn things for sure, that building blew up. Now listen, I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but I'll tell you this. The owner of that building, he wears a metal helmet. Who's wearing a metal helmet? Just to do business. Something don't smell right. You understand what I'm saying? That building, that was an inside job. You can quote me on that. Thank you for having me on the news. I've never been on the news before. This is fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And before we go, I want to shout out some people. My man Shane, my man Woody, my man Mike. I appreciate you all. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you. I'm on the freaking news right now. This is fantastic.
Well, that was certainly something. So let's see if we can check back in with Scrap Iron and see if he's been able to locate Destro or the Baroness and find out the cause of this fire. Over to you, Scrap Iron. Scrap Iron. Scrap, are you there? Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties and oh my God. Oh, I'm going to have to go over there now.
All right, so quickly, it's Hi, it's me says it's weapons pack G. Again, I have no idea. I never really paid attention to what they were on when I was collecting the stuff. So it's a good weapon. It actually Mark II Designs, Mark II Toys. He's the one that's designing all the weapons now. So he does a really good job. I talked about his weapons pack when he was on the show. So and I know, so Billy Boy says they really need to make a retro snow job. He was one of my first figures as a kid, but I refused to pay $140 for the classified version. Well, he was only like $33 when he came out. Uh, that's one that I'm pretty sure will get made. I don't see how they can't do it. Anyway, Masters of the Universe, a little bit of news. There's only 2 slides, so no one leave. All right, so we are getting the 200X Deluxe Whiplash, the cartoon collection. I gotta say, one of the funniest things about these deluxe, um, the deluxe Origins figures is some of them are so big they really pack it into uh, these boxes. So, as we were talking about earlier, there was a guy that used to work at Mattel that kept saying that, hey, this line is done and they're losing the rights to Motu. And here we are. Probably about 3 years later, we are here, and it's still going. It is still going. So, Debo DNA jumping in here saying, "What's up, Punk and Chat?" Who will be one of my guests this Thursday, who I've already touched on. All right. Let's see here. And then we have Cobra Commander jumping in. Finally, what we all came for, the Motu news. And here's Michael Oliver. Hey, all. Just joined and caught up. Thank you. Love to see you here. But anyway, if you're still interested in this, and again, I like what they're doing. I like that they're continuing these Origins. They're still at a good price point. And people must be enjoying them. Now, we all know that after this, they had a specific line, and now they went to the Chronicles line, and they shrunk it. But they said, we're not done with the Masterverse line. And here we have a vintage collection Wondar, who also comes with an alternate head. So once again, you're looking at Mattel and their Motu. And for the most part, now they have the Masterverse, which is winding down. They have Chronicles, which is just going to redo those figures again. They still have Origins, even though they're on the cartoon collection now. They still do regular Origins. And then they have the core, which is the same size, from what I can tell, as the Origins figures. So they're going to redo those figures again. But they're at a $10 price point as of now, which goes back to what I've always said. Like, a big toy company like this, not that they can't do it. Not that they can't, but they don't. They normally don't bring down prices. They'll kill the line and maybe recreate that line under a different name, and then change the price point. And yeah, Skunkworks says, I like that one. I think it looks really good. I do like these head sculpts, and I think that this is actually the 70th anniversary, the 30th anniversary. He-Man has not been around 70 years. I think this is the 30th anniversary head sculpt that they used in that pack. I just sold it, and that's why it's kind of like just resonating with me. I don't think that's the head sculpt that came with all the other Masterverse. There's someone in here. There might be a Motu fan here, but anyway, that's it. Now we're on to McFarlane. Oh, this line is dead now. All right. So why he does not do more Spawn, I don't know. I mean, it's literally his brand. He doesn't have to worry about anyone yanking the license from him. So he's going pretty crazy. He got this Nightmare Spawn. Goes up for pre-order May 11th. It'll probably be in stores already. If anyone remembers, McFarlane would say something's going up for pre-order, and people were finding it in Walmart. So anyway, that is today, I guess, right? So you have this Nightmare Spawn that goes up for pre-order. Actually, it is up for pre-order. I did see it. We get Wings of Redemption Spawn, which is interesting. And if you saw the product pictures, I'm kind of like, he's kind of naked. But that's great for someone like Thanos Copter. He can do all kinds of things with that. I'm not gonna lie, I really do like some of these Spawn figures. We got the Curse of Spawn, once again, May 11th. So all this is coming out today. Now, again, he is reusing a lot of this buck. And again, that's the name of the game. I wish that he would do more with his spawns. And I really wish that he would go pinless. And again, he does the soft goods, but he's just so against going pinless. I mean, he literally acts like it doesn't exist. Billy Boy Story says, I just ordered a beat the shit Panther Skeletor cat. I'm going to zombify it. I'm going to zombify it to go with my Spawn figures. Well, I guess I mean I was gonna say it's kind of small, but if you're not trying to make it one that he rides, the medieval Spawn, I'm probably gonna order this one. I really like medieval Spawn. I never read anything about it. I think he just looks really, really fucking cool. So I really do like this one for sure. But again, I wish that he would, this is where he needs to change. He's losing the DC license. Make some changes to the figures. So now it rejuvenates people to wanting to come back, into the line. So now this is from the vault. I want you guys to remember that. This is about being from the vault. Tristan T jumping in here saying, howdy, y'all. All right. So here is the medieval Spawn. Again, he just gets, like this axe and this hammer and the sword. Big burly figure. So, but again, from the vault, we're getting this evil Robin Super Friends. It's again, no one understands what his platinum editions are, his gold editions. No one knows where they're going. But if you want an evil Super Friends Robin, it is going to be there for you. Probably some of his stuff starts to shoot up in price. And again, as we're getting towards the end, you might see these things either shoot up or they're going to crash. So, all right. So here we have this from the vault. Now, this is something that we talked about on Circle of Jerks, and Baldy was like, is this a way for him to get away and still have this DC product when he no longer has a line? And the answer is no. The answer is no. I also don't know how I screwed up first appearance. I swear when I do this stuff, like it's supposed to be cut properly. But anyway, this is the first appearance Superman. He can't push out the stuff. Even if he's already created it, he has the molds. He no longer has the rights. He may have the rights to use the bucks, but he can't recreate Superman, Batman as much as he might want to. But this is coming out. If you missed it and you want it, it's with the chains. Superman is very ugly. His suit is very ugly, and the pins are huge. Here is Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman here, I know a lot of people were really interested in this one. I also got a much better picture of exactly how Wonder Woman is going to look. So Wonder Woman looks exactly like this, and so will all of these other ones. And these are actual pictures of the actual figures, not customized. I didn't steal this from anyone. This was a stock picture that was put up there. Fuck you, Corey. Just remember, fuck you, Corey. You stole Tony's Figs pictures just like I'm doing. Don't do that shit. If you guys don't know, some dude named Corey, who puts his links to his Super Friends, stole Tony's pictures and tried to pass them off as like, hey, you can get these figures. Here's links to them on Amazon, except these are all customs. So fuck you, Corey. Just remember that. Anyway, not Corey Cantaloupe. Dominic Johnson says some of his best figs came in the last year, but why collect if it's dying? I agree 100%. Just wondering, Mattel will be doing these and probably better. I keep telling Tony the exact same thing. Now, if you're just one of those people and you just want this line, like you don't care, you just want them to sit there like Tony has them, then yeah. So if anyone is wondering, this is not how they're gonna look. Wonder Woman is huge. Tony customized her to make her smaller than Superman and Batman. He did a lot of customs on this. There's something he happened to come across, and I'm sorry, Tony actually befriended the guy, and I know at least Baldy and I think Spec was on board too. He's like, fuck you, dude. Like, he stole his fucking shit. Literally stole his shit. Tried to pass it off doing Amazon links. You just don't do that, dude. It's just not cool. Anyway, from the vault again, bank robber Joker. I feel like this was just out not too long ago. So how much is it from the vault? I feel like it was sitting right on the top of the vault. U.S. Combat Dojo saying, "Holy thunder thighs!" Yes. And Cyber 63 saying, "Holy shit! A lot of fuck yous tonight." Hey, you know what? Sometimes it just hits. So anyway, if you missed any of these and you're interested, you can get them. And then we have the Batman The Dark Knight from the vault. And there is a reason why I put Batman at the end from the vault. So if you did not get the Dark Knight Batman and you want it, and I actually think this one looks really good, to be honest. It's off good capes. I like this one. I'm not getting it because I'm under the impression that Mattel is going to be doing closer to a 6-inch line, so they will match up with Marvel Legends, and then they can actually battle in in pictures. But don't worry, this line is coming to an end, the DC multiverse, but we will not have a shortage of Batman before we get here. So we have Batman / Deadman coming. I mean, this is clearly Daredevil, right? Like this, he's got the D and the Bat mixed. This is clearly a combination of Daredevil and Batman, right? It has to be. The funny thing is, I think the color actually works, and I think it looks pretty good. I won't be buying it. But anyway, there's more. Because now we have Batman the Golden Age. It's been a long time since he's dropped a wave of Batman. Wait no more. So we have the Batman Golden Age, which does look good, but again, I cannot not see those pins. They don't even have small pins; they're gigantic. And his articulation, it really sucks, to be 100%. C.R. Mazza, Rip DC McFarlane, and G.I. Joe Classified. Yes. I'm amazed that McFarlane has not pushed out the absolute Batman figure for the last cash grab. Don't worry. There's more. Then we have Batman The Dark Knight Returns. Now this is from the comic, not from the movie. So you guys should be happy about that. This is Fat Batman. He's got the big fat face. He's big, he's chunky. I never read this because I don't read comics anymore, but people absolutely loved it. Cobra Commander says, "Can we get the Daredevil Batman Jokerized?" I can't promise you that, but I also can't say it's not a possibility. Why his plums in his face? Graph jumping in here. So again, this is again, it's coming to an end. Oh, wait a minute, Batman from the New 52. You were like, I thought we were done with Batman. No, I do like this. I like the gray suit with the black cape. The black bat symbol. I think this figure looks pretty good. And Very sleek for McFarlane. You know, still got those giant pins, so you know he's not wearing a completely sleek suit. But sure enough, man, we're getting another Batman. But wait, there's more. Now, I've said before, I absolutely loved Nightfall. Um, Nightfall is one of my favorite comic arcs. And, you know, I didn't read the comics too much before then. And seeing Azrael take over, and I talked about this, I think, last week. I think this looks awesome. So let me just first off start off by saying I love this. I love the sheen that is on the blue, the way it shines on it. He's got the big claws, and he looks like Batman. But we know this was the Azrael armor, and if you read Nightfall, he was slowly adding things to the Batman suit that came from the Azrael armor. And you know, this is when Batman had his back broken by Bane, and he handed over the mantle to Azrael, who was already like, he wasn't a real good guy. And when it finally comes down to it, and Nightwing has to come back, and the tension between Bruce and Dick over like, why would you do this? Like, why wouldn't you ask me to take it? And you know, Bruce in his mind of like, you had already left. You put Batman behind you. You never wanted to be Batman. And he was like, I understand that. But it's better than this fucking killer that you put in the suit because you thought he had a redemption. And I've always said there's two people that should ever be Batman. There's Bruce Wayne and there's Dick Grayson. And then Terry McGinnis, but that is well after either one of them should be Batman, right? But I've always said those are the two. Like, in my mind, Dick Grayson was always I don't like using the word groomed. He was always training to eventually take over the mantle until he went off to be Nightwing, and he had this animosity not towards Batman as much as Bruce Wayne. But I think this looks amazing. This is one that I could see myself getting, but then I'm like, if Mattel sees how well these are doing, why wouldn't they create it? And create it with better articulation, better look, and better, you know, scale. So he's going out with a bang with Batman. If you're interested, it's here. All right. Revel Tech. I just had to throw this in because this Deadshot looks fucking amazing. All right. A lot of times with this amazing Yamaguchi, I hate the way their joints look. I think this one looks really, really good. Now, I believe it is $70 on one of the sites. That's why I have the question mark. Revel Tech is really known for the articulation, but they also have some really interesting joints and different things like that. I don't think this one looks bad at all. As a matter of fact, they recently just had the Batman Beyonds, which I was like, ooh, I could see myself getting that. And then we've seen the Red Hood on this. This is nice, man. This is, in my opinion, really good. If I was more into like the DC universe and stuff like this, I definitely nab this. Way better than what McFarlane does. Way better. Like, I don't think I really need to preference that too much more, right? Like, this really just fucking, this kills. So if you are interested, go check it out. And again, I know I got a lot of people that they're G.I. Joe guys here. You know, this is, you know, this channel is probably 40% G.I. Joe, probably 30% stuff adjacent to G.I. Joe, but I'm a toy collector. So I talk about a lot of different toys. If you're new here and you're like, how come you're not right to the G.I. Joe talk like other people or whatever? I talk about a lot of stuff. But if you're interested, you can find this online. Toy News Eye has it, I think. I think that's where I got it. Either there or Toy Arc. But there you go. And just the shots are awesome. All right. Yeah, I almost want to get it. God, I gotta get this off the screen because it just looks so good. Now I gotta say, like, did you really need to use a stand to get this shot? Right? Like, neither one of these need a stand or a flight stand for this. Like, you should be able to get both those shots without a problem. Hi, it's me. Says all the classified collectors saying, "Good boy, farewell." Don't go nowhere. There's 101 people watching right now, so please hit that like button if you have 73 likes right now, 101 people watching, and 131 votes. That 11% say it's dying, 58 say no, 26 say on life support, and only 5 say the Hasbro will kill it and start a new line. And what do we quickly? I also got this we have to get to. Baldy live jumping in saying, "You not talking G.I. Joe is like McFarlane not making a Batman figure." We just got done with that. So anyway, Deadshot, here's everything that you're going to get with it. They do give you a lot of stuff. The weapons are not the greatest. They don't have holes for blast effects. The blast effects actually go around it, which I think look good, but they should still have ports in case you want to use different things. I guess this one here, as I'm circling, like, I guess this one looks like it actually ports in, probably for that laser gun right there. So anyway, Star Wars. Now I only threw this in because I'm going to Disney right after, and I'm like, should I get this Star Speeder from the Disney parks? Like, it's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. So it looks like it's gonna have, R2D2 and C3PO. Star Tours is always fun. There's like so many different versions of it. So if you go back again, you're not gonna have the exact same. But I gotta say, like, I don't have room for this. I don't even have a need for it. It's just kind of cool. It's just kind of cool. It's kind of cool to have and be like, yeah, we've been on that numerous times, and but I also have to see how much it is. Andrew Davis says that this Deadshot can easily be hired contract killer for Cobra. Oh yeah, you could easily work them in either Marvel Legends. You can work them in with, your Cobra, G.I. Joe, whoever. And Matthew says that was created for Star Tours, so it's straight Disney. Yes, I don't know what like. I'm not sure what's funny about that. Anyway, again, I just think it's kind of cool, and I doubt that I'll get it, but if it's a decent price, it probably won't be. So we'll see. Wait, Stanley says Star Speeder 250-ish. Well, if it's 250, I know I'm not getting it. That's almost has that price. Don't have to worry about that this year. Anyway, the Scout Trooper, $27.99. I put this in specifically, because it's actually kind of cool. But I put it in for Johnny Reno. No, if it's that much, it's not a decent price. But yeah, G.I. Jetman getting all like belligerent here. If you want to collect DC, fuck McFarlane. Go back and collect the old DC Universe Classic figure line. Well, I mean that's, but maybe they want new figures that are made. um, yeah, I know the park pricing is crazy. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Um, I think, believe me, even at like Universal, when we'd go in the Marvel section and the kids are like looking at like some of the toys, I'm like, you're not getting that. Why? I'm like, because we can go to Target and get it for like a third the price. So, yes, I do know that. Anyway, the Scout Trooper, this is put in for Johnny Reno. He is a huge Biker Scout fan. Biker Scouts are the coolest. They're the best stormtroopers of them all. I don't care what anyone says. I will fight you. Anyway, these are cool. I know some people hate them, but I find them fun. I don't own any of these ones, but they're just fun, right? So they're wearing like a soft, good shirt. And again, it's just a Biker Scout. You can take it off. May the 4th be with you. I probably should have talked about this last Monday, but I didn't either realize it or I just didn't care. One or the other. But again, it's just another Biker Scout. But if you like the Biker Scout and you're looking for a nice, clean-looking one, but I know Robo really talked about this, and this is hilarious. And I think they did it for all of them, right? So here you have that is Wicket, one of the Ewoks, and he can't hit him. And it's just comical. It's just funny that they did this. This shot is actually pretty cool. I think everyone that buys this, that does any type of photography, will definitely be using this. So anyway, I threw this in here just because I really like the Scout Troopers. I always call them the Biker Scouts. So there you go. May the 4th be with you. But that was last week. Jada Toys. So I believe this is the end of the final challenges for the Street Fighter 2. This would be, if this is my final one that I'll probably be buying. I'm not big into this. M. Hatfield saying, love the Ewok target. It's funny, man. Like, I hate that some people cannot just have fun with their fucking toys. They're literally toys. I mean, could you imagine kids being like, I don't want that, Mom. It looks like too much fun. Well, then go whine and bitch about. Like, we know that shit sells. People love the whine and bitch, but you don't have to use it, right? Anyway, T-Hawk here. And like I said, oh yeah, Zangief. That's right. So this won't be the last one. But I got to tell you right now, you're doing Zangief. Jada, I need you to do a Wreck-It Ralph. Is that asking too much? A Wreck-It Ralph, you go with Zangief. And if you haven't watched Wreck-It Ralph, you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, T-Hawk, I have no connection to this guy whatsoever. I'm assuming he is supposed to be like Tatanka, which we've been watching the Marshals, and I realized the Native American, his real name is Tatanka. So anyway, T-Hawk, which is clearly Tatanka Hawk. What? Stop saying it wrong. Stop saying what wrong? Tatanka? I'm not saying it wrong. I watch wrestling. Anyway, I do like this figure. I have no connection to him whatsoever, but all these Jada Street Fighter figures are awesome. So if you're interested in these, I say go get it. I said Zangief. How was I saying it? Anyway, there we go. Not g. Okay. Now I'm always gonna say Zangief. See now I'm just gonna say stuff to piss you guys off. Zangief. So I can't wait to get Zangief in hand. I'm gonna do a review as Zangief and go on and on and on. Anyway, like it is giraffe right here. All right. But anyway, if you want this, if you want to finish the final challengers, it's here. Now, if you haven't picked up a Jada figure yet, especially one of the Street Fighter figures, I'm not really sure what you've been doing. I've said before, if you're any type of toy collector, these are figures you need to have just to know how good they came out of, how good they came out, just killing it. And why other companies couldn't do something. I mean, they could. They choose not to because, it's more research, more R&D put into it. So, but there you go. If you want this dude, T-Hawk, he's up for pre-order on BBTS and Entertainment Earth and fun places like that. I'm trying to see here. Tristan T saying classified isn't dead, but the English pronunciation is. Tim H saying Zangief scratches the ears. All right, Zangief. Fat Nerd says Hasbro can pretty much redo all sections, all the 4-inch figures, and I want them. Gonna be dope to see Renegades and Resolute in 6-inch form. I don't know if they're gonna get to those. I hope so. I hope so. MCR Mazda says, Punk, have you seen the 4 Horsemen skate decks? Yeah, I saw them at PowerCon, if I remember. I think PowerCon had them, which is many, many years ago. I have seen them. If I remember correctly, they are shaped decks, and I am not a fan of shaped decks. I like the popsicle sticks. Now, if someone wants to give me one, then yeah, I'm good. Debo says classified is not dead, but everyone might look like first release Falcon from here on out. Maybe. So there we go. We spent enough time on this. Marvel Legends. So this is going up June 5th. The Onslaught, $39.99. If I am correct, this is a Target exclusive, and I didn't put that in here, but I think it's Target exclusive. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you guys love to correct me. So this guy, I think, will be about the same size as Zangief. So you can have him and Zangief fighting in the ring. Perfect for Marvel Legend, Marvel vs. Capcom. Now, I do not have an Onslaught. I definitely want to get it. I like the sheen. The purple and the red, just it really pops. The Magneto helmet, everything. I like this, even for $40. This is a must-have for me because I don't have it. And I've seen people complain when they first showed it off, saying, "I have the first one. I'm not going to get this." Then don't get it. It was really that easy. Like, you don't have to say something. Stark Road says, "Look at that tiny little baby Onslaught." Machine Man says, "So when is Boss Fight starting up as the outsource for classified?" I asked Lenny. He said they are not getting the license. I hate when these things move. They jump. like Lego Star Wars Kid says didn't really like the whole Onslaught story. I'm trying to remember it. And if I remember correctly, Onslaught came out of Age of Apocalypse. And I love the Age of Apocalypse. But I don't believe he was in Age of Apocalypse. It's been so long since I read that story arc. But yeah, I don't know. I just think he looks cool. I know what he is. I know who he is for the most part. But this is a must-have for me. And like I said, I've really gotten into Marvel Legends. So even if Classified dies, I still have the Marvel Legends that I can go hog wild on. And then this showed up today that I believe this goes up for pre-order tomorrow. And this is from the Punisher. Was it like a movie? I don't know what they're doing. At Disney Plus. Is it still called Disney Plus? Now, since he has a beard, it kind of takes away from him having that weird look, Frank Castle. But I gotta say, I think this figure looks really good. And, we've all talked about the differences between the proper Marvel Legends and the MCU Marvel Legends. I think the MCU Marvel Legends have gotten better, but this one I think this looks good. I like the shotgun. They're going to give you this head sculpt here. You got a nice pistol with a shortly extended magazine, which it's not too long, but it'll still probably catch everything. He's got a couple grenades, and he's pretty jacked in this. Pretty damn jacked for sure. And here he has a yelling face, which is good. But again, if you really want to use this, like let's say with your classified, if that's what you're into, you can easily put them in with the classified. Again, work him in with your Operation Monster Force. Like this guy would be awesome taking on one of the zombies, one of the werewolves. Because Frank Castle he's just a badass. Wolverine says, it's nice we'll get to meet the Hasbro Classified guys now when they go to Joe Fest with Boss Fight Team. I wonder if Hasbro will ever make an appearance at Joe Fest. No. The answer is absolutely no. Yes, as Tristan C says, going back to Onslaught, it is Professor X and Magneto merged. So it was an interesting storyline. And again, I'm trying to remember how it came out of Age of Apocalypse. Now, Age of Apocalypse, if anyone doesn't know what Age of Apocalypse is, Legion, Professor Xavier's son, goes back in time to kill Magneto, but accidentally kills his dad, which he wipes him off, and it changes the whole story. And it was just awesome. Like, I loved it. So, but yeah. But I like this figure. And it also kind of looks like this guy right here. Uncle Clutch jumping in here saying, fellas, Uncle Clutch is in the house working on bites and knocks while watching our boy Punk. And this kind of looks like you. I just want to say that. So, not as dapper looking as you, though. You are one good looking man. And hey, I'm secure with my masculinity that I feel safe saying that. But to all the people that hated the other Frank Castle head sculpt that came with the MCU, they basically gave you a second head sculpt so you can use it on that one if you want to. But as you can see, he's still getting the same axe. He's getting a new shotgun, couple fists, 2 grenades, a knife, a nice new blast effect is what it looks like, man. Wow, Punk got me blushing. Wait till I tell you in person at Joe Fest. Alex Martinez says, I'm definitely getting this Punisher. Yeah, I was like, I don't need another MCU Punisher. I ain't not gonna lie. The more I looked at it, I'm like, I'm so fucking buying this. I am so fucking buying this. And Fetner says, yeah, this Punisher is insane, dope as fuck. Darren saying, I like the shot. Yeah, the shotgun's really good. And I mean, someone else that is bigger than Marvel Legends, they can say if this, they could tell us if this is a reuse, but I don't remember ever seeing the shotgun. So, but a new blast effect from what I can tell, which is nice. I keep saying we need new blast effects because, you know, every time there's a blast effects, I mean, they don't all look the same. Operation Monster Force, I have so many of them. I mean, I don't know if Valaverse finally changed theirs, but they had theirs the same for the longest time. Classifieds are, there's a couple that are decent. They give you a whole bunch, but most of them suck. So, anyway, Tony doesn't get jealous very easily. 44D2 jumping in here saying hot dog eating contest, Frank Castle. You know, I actually have some toy hot dogs that came with the five below grill. I'm going to try and remember that. But I've been thinking about doing a Punisher Spider-Man shot for the longest time, and I keep forgetting to. So maybe I'll do it this weekend. Yeah, look, Devil Dog. I think I'm gonna pick him up. He looks awesome. Yeah, it just looks really good. Hopefully the Buck doesn't suck, but Buck is probably gonna be pretty close to the one that we already have, which I don't, and again, I don't think is bad at all. So anyway, and look, we got Brandon R jumping in here saying, "Hey all." And here's the packaging for him. So again, we can see this is the MCU 14. Look, that's odd. Look at that. 14 plus. That is interesting. I don't know if anyone's noticing that. What if they went to 14 up now with classified after Lenny leaves, and now they can start anyway. We'll talk about that later. All right, M.A.S.K. Now I know this has kind of been a sore spot for a lot of people. People wanted these masks to be really good. I don't really think they were, but I actually really like these. I always like this. I do not know their names, and I forgot to write them down. Actually, I was exhausted doing this. So tell me who this is. I like the fact that they give you two masks, one with the blast effects, one just plain. Are these overpriced? I do think they are a little overpriced when you can buy the vintage for almost the exact same. Ooh, Jackhammer. Who doesn't want a Jackhammer? Now, I don't know how fragile they are. I'm taking other people's word for it because a bunch of people have said this. I do think they're too expensive. That I will give you. And, you know, if they are as fragile as a lot of people say, that really sucks. Cliff Dagger and the Jackhammer. But this, again, I love the way the turret pops up. I like the blast effects. You know, they have something if they fix their quality in the second go around. But again, word of mouth, if that first series sucked, even if they make it better this one, it's already out there. But I do like this. Looks cool. So here's everything that you're going to get, how it looks, which I like what they do here, giving you the top both in attack mode and regular mode. Here's the front of it and the back of it. So, yes. Here's the little Jeep. This is probably maybe the worst of this wave. I never really liked this, although they did make it a little bit better. Now, again, they're not really hiding the gun very well. Can we all agree? Flipping the gun backwards is not really hiding. So I was never big into the little boat, but we get some nice little blast effects on both of them. Once again, two different helmets. They should have done more with the articulation with the actual figure, right? That is one of the places where I think they definitely failed. They could have done a modern 4-inch, maybe not a total modern 4-inch articulation, but they could have had elbow bend, knee bends, and everything. I don't think they have any bends, do they? So here's everything this one comes with. This one's going to be, one of the lesser expensive ones, but they're all still really, really expensive, right? I don't think anyone disagrees with that. Now, this is the one I'm probably going to have to get because I had this one as a kid. My dad loved the 57 Chevy. I've been told this is not a 57 Chevy, but it's in that range. But I had this one, and the one thing I will say that I don't like is the fact that it has that port for blast effects in the window. It takes away from the nice, smooth aesthetic. But this one was so stupid. Why did it need 6 wheels? I don't know. But it had it, and it hides it very well. At least the original one did. So this might be one of those ones that I do end up getting just because I had it as a kid, and they look close enough to the original, to the vintage. But yeah. All right. So Tony says it's a 57. It's a 57 Chevy with a Continental kit. Is that the 6 wheels? Jetman, I do not believe Ace is making 6-inch mask. Ace had a meltdown a couple years ago. Ace had a meltdown saying he was going to do it when people were complaining about the scale that he was doing it. And after a few hours of that meltdown, he said, "No, we're not doing it." So, Hi, it's me says it changes from a classic car into a pile of junk. That's mean. But here's everything when it changes. Again, I kind of like it. Again, it's the childhood thing. If it wasn't from the childhood, I wouldn't even care about this. All right. So there you go. And then the last one is I actually have the sidecar downstairs. I bought it in a lot. It just sits there. I need to sell it. I need to put it on eBay and get rid of it because I have no need for it. I don't have the motorcycle. I like this one more than the sled that comes out of the Jeep. This one is, in my opinion, more like a submarine. But yeah. And Matthew says it is neither a 57 Chevy or Plymouth Fury. Well, that's good because those aren't even made by the same manufacturer. But anyway, this was the mask. I want to put these in because I thought they actually looked pretty cool. All right. And then ramen. Funny you bring up ramen. So this is the Joe Fest exclusive. Now, I don't believe he's going to have this on hand. So it has the cow catcher. It is the same tank that we've gotten. No, I haven't gotten it. Some of you. The camouflage, I think it does look good. Remember, he is making another tank. He is making a Mauler. So just be careful if you're going to buy this. And again, these are expensive. And I don't think people really have a problem with the quality. I mean, I do have the Ramen van. I've reviewed the Ramen Racer. So the quality has been really good. And I think Crow talked about it in his review. He liked it, but there's a lot. Again, it's nice that you can take the turret off, but you can't really take pictures with the turret off. That's where I think Classified might struggle doing a tank as a HasLab or made to order or whatever. Getting those details to probably charge what they want to charge. But there is this one. He said this one is available now. It is shipping. So this is the Mega Tank. If you don't know, it is Megatron. And the character in it has a Megatron helmet on. It looks very similar to Megatron. And if you are following Sean Foster yet, you should be. He does a lot of customs. where he mixes and matches G.I. Joe Classified with Transformers. And I literally thought this was one of his pictures, and he even said it looks just like it. But you do get, I believe you get Megatron with this. I like this, but it is available right now. So if you want the neon camo Mega Tank or Megatron, it is available. So, and J.I. Jetman said, I already have a Mauler pre-ordered elsewhere. Remember, that's a 3D printed too, and I don't want to put down 3D printed stuff, but 3D printed stuff is not nearly as playable as something that is plastic mold injected. Just always be careful with that, right? And then again, I have some 3D printed stuff coming, and I just got something 3D printed today. So, 3D printed is more for taking pictures than actually moving it and playing around. So, Devil Dog does. He says, I missed out on the Hunter tank, and this would be awesome. This would be an awesome piece in my collection. Again, I don't have one. I've actually never messed with one, but everything that he's done is really good. And I don't see either one of these being, any different. Bonus exclusive figure, the Mega Tank Commander, available now while stocks last. But there you go. If you want it, go get it. And here is, again, you can see it is that Transformers look, the BotCon exclusive. So I believe, is BotCon is that a Transformers thing or not? I don't know. So before we get into G.I. Joe, quickly remove this here. Big Bad Workshop has put up two that they're going to have. They're two exclusives. They will be showing off soon. And I'm all for them. This is what I'm going to say. I like helping people out, but I want you guys to understand, if you're asking me to get something, you probably can imagine 5 or 6 other people have also asked me to get something. We can only do so much in the community. We like helping people out. I think we all do. But there does come a point where people start overstepping. And I'm talking about on all walks of what we do. We all want to help out, but there's only so much that we can all do and so much we're willing to do, right? So just be cautious when you start asking people for stuff. Like there might be reasons, and when you start asking people, you can put them in a really bad situation where they don't want to say, hey, I can't do this, I can't do that. And you're making that person or people, you put them in a bad position. I just want to say that. So watch before you start asking stuff. And again, for whatever reason it is, whatever you're asking, you can probably imagine other people have asked something very similar. And there's really only so much that in some cases that we can do for each other. All right. So just take that for what it's worth. If anyone thinks it's about them, there's a reason why you're thinking it's about you. All right. Brandon R says 5 or 6 people have asked you to shower after the drive. Nobody wants to hang out with a skunk with toys. I will tell you, I will not stink. I will tell you that much right now. Yeah, no, I will not stink. I can promise you that. Because I would believe me, if I stank, I wouldn't have asked that question. I would have said, like, I fully know why you need to shower. But anyway, there you go. Clinton says, if there is a flag at Joe Fest, someone pick it up for me. We will worry about payment after you deliver it to me. There's a flag there. I promise you that there's a flag there. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of mention that. Um, again, just be careful when you start asking people, right? Okay, back to the stage of G.I. Joe. There's really not much to talk about. I guess there are a few things. Haya dropped this. Now, this is where Haya actually goes off. Now, these are 4.1 inch figures, right? This is where Haya actually goes off a little bit and they break away from the classified line. And I gotta say, I think it looks pretty damn badass. Now, Haya cannot make a good human face for the life of them. But the M.A.S.K figures, I think they really, really fucking kill it. And as a Python Patrol, they did a good job. There's not too much yellow green here. Yeah, this looks great. I mean, I would love to see this in classified, and maybe just maybe they can grab some of the highest stuff. Like Haya's just been grabbing the classified stuff. That's something I'm definitely going to hopefully talk to Lenny about when I see him at Joe Fest about the whole Haya thing. And again, his designs are no longer his designs, right? Like when you work for a company, you can ask anyone that's ever invented something at a motor, for the automotive industry, you can ask them, like, they don't own it. If you invented the carburetor and you worked at Ford owns it. So Lenny doesn't own this, but there were some designs that he did that Haya actually just, they got to do, and it really, really sucked. Unfortunately. So, KY, seriously, I don't know. Hold on.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
All right, you're saying, I wonder if they will launch a 3.75 line with better articulation and all, like Joy Toy. Are you talking about Haya? Or are you talking about Hasbro? I think Hasbro is trying to launch a more articulated 3.75 line with the Tron figures, and we talked about it. I think on Circle of Jerks. I think I probably talked about it here also. Starting with that Tron line as a HasLab, that was such a fucking mistake. Doing a new articulation with 3.75, had you gone with the original G.I. Joes or early G.I. Joes, series 1, 2, or 3, whatever, people would have been hyped on that. But to give people Tron figures, now, if you gave them the Joe figures, and then you came up with a made-to-order Tron figures, and you're like, hey, these live in the world, and guess what? We might be having Power Rangers that are also going to live in the world. I think it would have done much better. And you have a true proven seller coming from, that line. So, but I don't think that they are. To answer your question, I don't think that they are. Pop Leonard jumping in and saying, hey, Punk in chat, just checking in while I'm finishing up at work. Hope nobody's doing great. Well, that is not nice. That is not nice at all. The Thanos Copter jumping in here. If you have not following this guy on Instagram, you need to, because he's gonna post something very inappropriate, and you either have a weak stomach and you unfollow him, or you're gonna say this is sweet. So anyway, here we go with this Python Patrol Haya 4.1 figure. Now, the issue with the 4.1 figures is that I don't have a problem mixing in the modern 4-inch figures with the 3.75 O-rings. I understand the aesthetics are different and the height is noticeable. When you get to the 4.1, then they're just almost too big for 3.75 figures. The same way you look at a McFarlane figure, you cannot scale it. anywhere near to a Marvel Legends. Now, then again, McFarlane also can't scale his own figures against each other. So, anyway, I want this in classified. I mean, Cobra Trooper like this, Cobra Python Officer, a Crimson Python. Like give them all. Like I'm good with all of that. Probably don't need the gun, as we've already had that gun, both of these in classified, and they have the big notches on the side. But if you are interested, here it is. You can see. This one says 4 inches. So is he? So this one's actually shorter than the other ones. That's interesting. Unless they screwed that up. Unless if they screwed that up. But now it has me wondering. Oh wait! Oh shit! Damn it! I hope no one heard that. I hope YouTube didn't hear that. So Baldy just put. Just so you know, if you go look at my Instagram, you will see what has happened to the Circle of Jerks. So, anyway, then we get these. There are some people that are really excited about these. But was it longer than 15 seconds? That's what matters. I thought maybe Baldy was putting up something like, "Hey, we're actually doing a show tomorrow." No, our time has come to an end. Goodwill is closing its doors, and we will. I guess the Circle of Jerks are over. Terry knew this a long time ago. That's why he isn't. I make myself laugh. Anyway, I actually like the way I like the way the classified 250th Duke looks. When I first saw this, I thought it was Chuckles. And I'm not the only one that thought it was Chuckles. Yes. Baldy says Terry is a trendsetter. It was fun. It was a blast while it lasted. We had some fun times. And at Joe Fest, we might just sit at a table and we will reminisce about the fun things that we did on Circle of Jerks. And how it's no more. But we all still have fond memories of that. Just over a year that we did a show and pushed 170 people at times to watch us. Anyway, here's this Duke. She looks even worse. Look at that paint on that face. Like, she's whiter than fucking Tony is, man. Like, what is wrong? Like, people, and this is what makes me mad. When people, yes, Matthew, it was because we started on Olivia's birthday. So February 18th was the inception. It wasn't called Circle of Jerks at the time. So this is what makes me mad. When people get mad at you for saying how shitty this stuff looks. I mean, and again, if you like it, you like it, okay? Don't ever let me and my opinion persuade you from buying something. But this looks like shit. Right? Can we all just just agree? Yeah, because I'm so white. I'm just saying. This is more like Zucchini color, right? This is more like Zucchini. Seriously, look at her. Her white is almost the same whiteness as her spear. Now, this is where I go and say, I actually like this one. I actually like the camo blue Falcon. I do. I like this one, and if I see it in stores, is it available in stores? I don't really know. I think it's available in stores, and it's the proper price, and it doesn't look horrendous. I think I might pick it up. And then we get Snake Eyes with a very short sword. So I don't know why. It's Jay Gonzo jumping in saying, "What's up, gents? APWT. Woo! Okay. Lego Star Wars Kid says, I thought that Lady J was okay. Maybe the best at that scale. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you need to change the hue on your monitor. Because yeah. I like well, I like it, and it's Falcon, not Flint, isn't it? Although it does look like Flint more than Falcon, but that's Falcon's backpack and Falcon's gun. I don't know. We'll see if I actually buy it if I see it. Retnam jumping in here saying, greetings, Larry and chat. All right. I think that's it. There's Snake Eyes. I don't know if there's anything else. What I do know is I need a breather. So we are going to take a quick breather as I remove it. I got to find something to play. I need to get a sad ending for the Circular Jerks now that it is over, and we will all cry.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons! What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again? Yes. Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode, and hit that bell notification.
Let me tell you something, BG. So I'm sitting at home Monday night, and I get this DM from some guy named Tony, Legend Series. And he says, what you doing, Hawkster? I said, I'm watching Monday Night Raw. What are you doing? He's like, you got to turn on this thing called Monday Night Toy Ramblings on YouTube with this punk with toys. He's talking about you. So I want to turn on over and hear what this fool is talking about. And I turn it on, and all I hear him say is that he was at WrestleMania 3 with 93,173 of his best friends, and he was there when he watched me pick up that big, mean, ugly giant, and when I slammed into the ground, he said he felt the Silverdome shake all of Pontiac, Michigan. It shook, and that's when I realized that this guy, him and all his punkomaniacs that are running wild every Monday night, that it is the best thing going in Michigan that's ever happened. Maybe the best thing ever on Monday night. So, if you're sitting here right now and you're not paying attention, a punk with toys, Monday Night Toy Ramblings, this guy will talk about everything. And it doesn't matter what you do. You can buy your subs. You can hit him with fake copyright strikes. He's coming after you if you get on his bad side. So what you're gonna do when Hulkamania, when Punkamania, when they all run wild on you?
When it comes crashing.
All right. Commander Wolf says, what the fuck did I miss? Circular Jerks is done. Or am I can't say that word and missed the joke. Baldy has pulled the plug on it. His mom is not happy. Some of you don't know this. She runs a 1-900 number. People call. She talks about what she's wearing, and during that time, she loses out. And when you're talking about $3.99 a minute, that's almost a tank of gas right now. I mean, almost a gallon of gas. So she has pulled the plug. She said no longer can Baldy use the line. This is cutting into her 1-900 naughty lips. I don't know. I didn't name the number. She named it. But we're not a team anymore, dude. You could tell me in private, we're done. The show is over. Because clearly where Baldy lives in his mom's basement, they do not offer high-speed internet. You're still on Net Zero or AOL. But yes, the time has come. Every good thing. We thought we should end on top. At top. When the getting was good. So anyway, we'll see you all next week. Anyway, okay. On to the topic. Because there's 95 people that have probably been sitting here going, what the fuck have I been listening to? Why have you not talked about what you said the topic was? Well, because I do a 3-hour show. I can't talk about this for 3 hours. I probably could. Anyway.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
Brute Squad Collectibles CompuServe. I feel like I remember that one. Look at Prodigy, Net Zero. The Net. I remember the Net Zero, and obviously AOL. Prodigy was yes. All right. Commander Wolf says, fun while it lasted. Going to have to call that 1-900 number now on Tuesdays instead. I think 1 minute would be more than any we ever got in super chats. All right. So, not Rachel has joined us. I just got here, start over. Wait, you're just in time for the topic. All right. Classified is over. Now, we did not get as many eulogies to Tony as we did with Lenny. I did see one, and I also saw Baldy. This was when I still liked Baldy before he pulled before he ended the circle of jerks. So I thought it was funny then. I wouldn't find it funny now because Baldy he ruined something that we had that was special. He basically said, "You guys got to stop it. You're acting like these guys are dead," and it's very true. I've heard less sad eulogies than the stuff that I heard when Lenny left. No. He pulled no. That was Spec. All right. Spec was like, I need you to take this out. I need you to take this out. Yeah. So, my Netscape navigator needs to reboot. I don't think I ever had Netscape, but it sounds about right that they would have their navigator, which would have been their operating system, right? All right, so Tony left. I'm not overly shocked by this. Um, he was really close with Lenny. Boss Fight Studio is clearly making a play for specific reasons. What it is, who knows? Corey was already there. He had been doing stuff for Boss Fight for quite some time. He did contract work for Hasbro. His wife is still on the Star Wars team, if I am correct, at Hasbro. So, contrary to what other people do, where they burn every single bridge because they're jaded when they're let go from a corporation that you're just a number, Corey never did that. Now, for whatever reason, if it was the move that was the problem, if it was the fact that everyone says no one retires from Hasbro, that caused Lenny to say, you know what, it's time to look elsewhere. No one knows. What we know is that he is no longer there. And the fact that Tony left with him, I'm not overly shocked. Now, I did hear from someone that I trust that said there is no more people coming to Boss Fight Studios. It sounds to me like this was more of maybe a package deal of how it actually, works. That it's kind of like a package deal. They probably knew if Lenny came, there was a good chance that he would bring Tony because they worked so well together. You look at a lot of the stuff that Lenny has created when it comes to the different dreadnoughts, the animals, and some of these sci-fi fantasy figures like the Cobra Law and stuff. Boss Fight might be the perfect place for him. And that's because they have the Epic Hacks and they have the Saurozoic Warriors. So my understanding is he's going to be heading up those two teams, like those two brands, the Epic Hacks, which will be awesome because we've seen what he's done with Classified, and the Saurozoic Warriors, which has really hit a stalemate. I mean, I just recently sold off the ones that I had. I thought they were pretty cool, but maybe they're going to try and do something larger. Maybe they want to compete with, Savage Crucibles and, Mythic Legions and stuff like that. I really don't know. But what it has done is it has left the G.I. Joe team, which was really, Lenny and Tony and B.M.A.K, in dire straits. Now, I have no idea who is taking over as designer. My understanding is they will at least announce them at San Diego Comic-Con, but maybe they'll be up before that because we are supposed to get a G.I. Joe stream. Now, wouldn't be the first time they killed the G.I. Joe stream, but in my talks with Lenny after this, he did say that he goes, I'm not at liberty to say, who is going to be designing, but there are two designers and he knows them very well. And he said that the G.I. Joe brand, the Classified brand, is in really, really good shape. So I would not worry about it as of right now. I think people losing their mind over everything was just, I know I was worried when I first heard it because I really do love the brand. And from everything that I know, and I don't know everything, but I've talked to them. Lenny and Corey at the time, but Lenny more than anyone, and then obviously Tony, but he fought for so much. They fought to give him realistic weapons. They fought to not have the rubber guns. People act like the rubber guns was like a G.I. Joe thing. Go look at Marvel Legends guns and Star Wars guns. they were fucking soft too. They fought to make them a harder durometer. So it's one of those things where when someone fights that hard for it and gets things to change, like we are getting hooded Cobra Commander. Now, there's more to that than, let's say, Lenny and Tony fighting to get that, or B-Mac even. That has to come from the top down. If someone says, this is fucking stupid, that has nothing to do with the KKK, right? Someone has to oversee it and give them. And yes, we are getting a hooded Cobra Commander. Just understand that. But they already have figures all the way into 2027 that are designed, and obviously they still have to tool them. They have to tool a lot of them, but they still have to do some changes here and, the little tweaks. But they are almost set through 2027. And I gotta say that the shit that I have heard, I think it's gonna blow people away. Because we've already seen what they've done with the 200 plus figures, and they had no intention of pulling back. From everything that I hear, it sounds like Hasbro realizes, like, this may have been, hey, you know what, have this brand, we'll have it for a couple years and make some money off it. But this is where they actually see, like, fuck, dude, like, it's killing it. This is bringing money in. No overhead on this. Overhead's the wrong overhead is the wrong terminology. There's no, we don't have to pay any royalties. Like, this is all just profit for us. But moving, and a lot of people said it. I think part of, knowing that they're moving also gives Hasbro, hey, we know a lot of people are not going to uproot their families. So it eliminates us having to lay off some people. Not that they were probably planning on losing, the designer for their, again, it is the hottest adult toy brand going. It's not the largest. Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series or it's still way fucking bigger. There's no way that you can do it, but it doesn't mean that it's not the hottest. And when I'm told that, hey, these two designers that are taking over, and I can't tell you, and that I didn't care. Like, I'm like, I just want to know if you think that it's in good shape. And sure enough, he said, yeah, it's in good shape. It's not going anywhere. And I don't think that right there is very comforting to anyone that really cared about this brand, because we can sit back and go, all right, remember, G.I. Joe's been around for 60 years. It has been reinvented numerous times. And if these are people that worked with Lenny and Tony, then maybe they all have the same vision and they're going to keep that vision. Because if you keep a friendship, there's nothing wrong with calling up and saying, hey, we're working on this. Did you have any ideas of what maybe you wanted to do? And normally, that's how this works. When you leave a company, you don't get the fucking gas can on. You don't fucking strike the match and fucking burn that bridge and realize you're sitting on an island all by yourself. And it really does change a lot of things, in my opinion, of what we thought. Like, hey, they were ready that if they ever needed to move on, it sounds like they knew that they would be able to.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Uncle Clutch with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, saying, and Bourbon Veritas, I don't know if I said that right. Why are we obsessing about guys who don't obsess about us? I think what people are obsessing about is a brand that we love. And when you know as much as I do and many others, so it's not like me. I mean, it's not like I'm the only one that knows or whatever. When we when you know how much they had to fight to make this brand what it is now, your fear is Hasbro going to just kill the line? You do your own customs. Not all of us want to do customs. We want someone to make the pretty plastic for us. I'm that guy. I'm one of those guys. And again, if the classified line went away, I have Marvel Legends that I enjoy. Big Bad Workshop stuff, um, Skeletron stuff, right? Um, there are other lines that I enjoy that I could find somewhere to spend my money. There is no doubt about it. But knowing, again, when you get to know someone, again, you know the love they put in. I had, again, you can go back and watch my interview with Lenny. I spoke to him for 2.5 hours. We talked another 2.5 hours. And when you hear how much he loves the brand, how much he loves, when I hear someone say, Lenny doesn't even know G.I. Joe, he never cared about G.I. Joe, it tells you how much these people either watch and listen to what he talks about, or they're just telling the narrative that someone else wants them to, right? And we know there's factions within, in all this, right? But he truly had a love for it, and he was doing stuff to make it as good as he could. For Loom jumping in and say, I just want a Thunder Machine that isn't a HasLab. Well, he never said it wouldn't be a HasLab, but I think you're probably going to get your wish. I think you're going to get your wish on that. I don't know if all your wishes are going to come what you want them to be. That's what I will say on that. Let me share this here. I don't know if it's going to be exactly what you want it to be. Just leave it at that. But let's just say that of everything that come with the Dreadnoks, the Swamp Skier was a must-have, which we got. And the Thunder Machine is something. I could care less about a trike, the Zanzibar skiff, the helicopter that they had. Like, I don't really care about any of that. The Thunder Machine is the one thing that they have to do. Lenny was such a big Dreadnought fan. I think it's safe to say that is going to be coming sooner rather than later, because they're almost done with the main Dreadnoughts. The only one that there's been no rumors of would be Zanzibar, as I'm talking about the original ones. We know, like, we're getting Heart Wrencher. That's been, that's been out there for quite some time. Look at this. Seriously, guy fucking pulls the plug on fucking Circle of Jerks, and now he's already telling me to shut your mouth. No, you don't get to tell me what to do anymore, all right? I played by your rules long enough. I'm done. I don't need your shit anymore. You and your mom's shitty fucking dial-up internet. I didn't even know they still had copper wires so you could have a landline. Makes no sense. Matt O'Brien jumping in here saying, Punk, don't forget about the must-have a Dreadnought cabin. That would actually be pretty cool. Now, I didn't say anything about Zanzibar. I said his skiff, right? His air skiff or whatever. I'm not saying I wouldn't want it. I'm saying that what I'm saying is there's two things that need to be made if you're making vehicles. One's already been made, right? We already have it. That's it's over here. The Swamp Skier, and then the Thunder Machine. So, from my understanding, they already have two designers that will be taking over the classified, and one is not Dwight. So I thought Dwight would have been great. I know people don't like Dwight. Dwight is a, and if you don't know who Dwight is the head designer of Marvel Legends. Dwight is a big G.I. Joe fan. Dwight has a figure that was created after him, one of his brother, and one of his daughter. And the reason why I said Dwight I thought would have been a really good choice was because I think it'd be easier to find somebody who understands Marvel to take over that design than to get someone who understands G.I. Joe. And if it's doing as well as it is, then hey, great. But from my understanding, it will not be Dwight taking over. I don't believe that I have even heard of who these designers are or who anyone has, right? They're probably young designers that have probably been working under Lenny, Dwight. I have no idea the other designers on the Star Wars team and stuff like that. You look at the Star Wars brand; they have been moved. They got a new guy in, and they've changed so much on the Black Series for the better. So I don't think anyone needs to worry that this line is going anywhere. B-Mac was very adamant. Hey, I want at least 10 years out of this. That means I need another 5 years. Palpatine jumping in here saying, greetings, brothers. Line is alive and well. Despite two key players gone, Hasbro knows this line is milking money, and they would have already picked able replacements for the line to continue. I think one of the bigger concerns would be, would they be willing to kill the classified line and then reboot it with something else? And that's always a possibility. But you look how long Legends has been going. Marvel Legends. It's now 25 years, I think. Now it started with Toy Biz. When they got bought out, they've kept it going. They talk about lines last an average of 2 to 3 years, I believe, at major companies. They kill the line, they start it over. Kill the line, start it over. So it's crazy to think that they are still just kind of pumping shit out. We got Prime Artist. Zanzibar has to have rooted hair or we riot. I don't see it having rooted hair. I just cannot see that. I think it would be done like the ponytail on Marvel Legends, on Scarlet. I think that's how they would do it. I can't see them doing rooted hair. Now, if they buy Mattel, then they have all the rooted hair that they can bring over with the Barbies. Joe ARH jumping in saying, well, all I did was take a nap. Now the line is dead again. And Punk just told Baldy, you're not the boss of me now. I want to say that I was very disappointed that they did not use that song for the Malcolm in the Middle reboot. Like they have to own it, right? Baldy Lock says, Dwight announced on the next Marvel stream he's leaving too. My understanding is the purge is done. There's no one else leaving from Boss Fight Studios. Doesn't mean that no one's leaving anywhere else for somewhere else. But again, not that I think it's part of their strategy at Hasbro, but I think they knew that when they announced that, they were going to be moving, they knew that there was going to be people that say, hey, I'm not going. It may not be super far when it comes to, actual distance, but traffic, different city, different state, all that other stuff, it adds to it, right? So I think that was kind of like, let's see how many people walk away first, then we'll look at doing the different layoffs. You go on Facebook and you hear people and they're just, they're going off like Hasbro doesn't care. Now, Chris Cox is an idiot. Now, I'm never going to stick up for that guy. That guy has done more damage than anything. Hasbro is just such a juggernaut that it's been able to survive. You look at some of these people who thought that they knew shit that left Vince McMahon in professional wrestling and thought they could run their own or be in charge of it, and you saw what happened, and you realize Vince McMahon was always the filter. Well, they have filters there at Hasbro, and Chris Cox has done awful. He's just done such stupid stuff. So that's where your worry comes from. Like, hey, are they going to kill this? We have Angelula, EG CoverGirl. Okay. I think I completely slaughtered everything, but I apologize. MCR says Big Mac greater than Big Mick greater than Big Mac. All right. Model Misfit jumping in here. So again, when I come over here and I look at the poll that I put up here, and 165 votes, 58% of the people say no, it's not dying. 27% think it's on life support. I don't know where anyone gets that from. And this line has been humming along since. I'm going to piss some people off. Oh, I'm going to piss some people off. This line has been humming along since Emily came on board as the marketing director. Yep. It was flailing. And when Emily came on board and started doing her marketing, that's when it took off. Now, she has been promoted, but she is technically, I believe, the marketing manager of all brands that are Hasbro in-house. So she has no say in Marvel, Marvel or Star Wars, basically, because Disney doesn't want them doesn't want them doing it. Let's see. Cypher63 says, do you think they would change the scale like Motu did with their Masterverse line? I mean, after this year's already committed to releases? No, because you have Marvel Legends, you have Star Wars. Well, Star Wars Black Series is a little bit smaller, but it's still a 6-inch. I don't think they want to go over. I don't think they'd ever want to go with, but I don't think it's going anywhere. And when you start hearing about the stuff in 2027, you're really going to understand why I'm saying that. There's a huge change in a lot of different things. And from what I'm hearing, I don't think it's bad. Tesla Superstation. I know I've seen you here before. Waiting for more Tiger Force repaints. Am I the only one? I have not heard of any Tiger Force repaints. So, and yes, you might be the only. Well, I take the back. Gun Bunny Customs. He loves his Tiger Force. Tripwire says, what marketing? Well, again, remember, she markets a lot of different things. And there is other marketing other than just what we see. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that there's been a lot that has been a total mismanage. Again, Lenny had talked about it before when people had asked, during Yojo June, people would lose their mind because, they're talking comic books. They're not showing enough classified. They're talking about the game. Remember, Hasbro owns G.I. Joe. So, like when I say, hey, you know what? When I talk about like, hey, if I don't push my own merch, who's going to push it? Well, if Hasbro doesn't push the G.I. Joe brand, who's going to push it? It's their brand to promote. Unlike Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, or Vintage Collection, right? They're only there to push their toys that they're making. Yojo June is a culmination of them pushing the Super 7 shit, the game that they have, the comic books, and their classified line. It's up to them to do that. But Lenny had also talked about how there are different divisions. Like, we don't really have a say in this stuff. All right, the comics, like, in my opinion, they should have been sitting down with the writers of both books and discussing with them and going, okay, this is what we're doing. How does any of it fit into your story? And what have you done that maybe we can take out of your story to put into our line? So that's where I feel there's a huge issue. But that's a Hasbro issue from what it sounded like, that they just kind of like, well, no, you guys have nothing to do with the video games. You have nothing to do with the comics. That's the blind leading the blind. So to imagine that they've worked that well, now I think that's changing, right? We saw the comic, and again, I don't read the comic, but the Energon, they used the new style canopy for the Hiss. The Nemesis Immortal, much different, right? It looks like it did in the comic. So it's things like that that make you think, okay, they were doing a little bit. To get the comic and the toys, because you really do need media, in my personal opinion. You want media, in my personal opinion, to help push the story. You don't have a cartoon, you don't have a TV series, you don't have good movies, but you have comics that people are absolutely loving. And word of mouth is only going to go so far. So, I mean, that's kind of where you see a lot of the stuff. Commander Wolf says, I take a Tiger Force Dragonfly so I could paint it black or gray. I don't need another Dragonfly. We're running out of space. But I am going to say that if they do, and they probably will, give me the Locust. I don't want the Tiger Fly. Give me the Locust. And if you don't know what the Locust, look it up. It's the tan one. I believe they probably lost the naming rights of the Dragonfly. That's the one that I want to see. And I think most other people, I think some people want the Tiger Fly, but I think more people would like the Locust. It just looks cooler. I just want the Devilfish versus the Water Moccasin, please. Well, the Water Moccasin, my understanding, look for it next year. It was supposed to come this year, but there was issues. Again, I keep talking about the foil, right? And not about putting on the foil. But I keep talking about, like, you have to have a foil, right? The Vamp and the Hiss, they were foils to one another. If you get a Water Moccasin, you kind of got to get a Devilfish, right? They could easily make it somewhat the same size, even though technically the Water Moccasin was much bigger, to be 100% with it. So, but anyway, the classified line is fine. They already have, from my understanding, 2 new designers. I have no idea who they are. Sounds like they were already working in the building and either working with Lenny or working with other teams. My guess would be that they're younger designers, but I was told that they are really good. Now, who else? I mean, most people are going to say, yeah, they hired these two designers and they suck. But at least for a year and a half through 2027, we're going to have mostly Lenny designs. And hopefully that is enough that they can see where he was going and they want to keep it going because it's doing well, right? Nobody wants to be the company that fucking just... Nobody wants to be the person that ruins a brand that is just crushing it with money and design and everything, right? Devil Dog says, dude, the Energon universe has been phenomenal so far. That is what I hear. Like I said, I don't collect it. I don't read it. But that's what I hear. And that's why I keep going back to, like, I don't need to read it to know that I want those figures just because I like the G.I. Joe and the lore, and I'll look into it and I'll find that something. But it's one of those things where they should not, there shouldn't be a wait. They should have known that, hey, you know what? This is what we need to gravitate to. We have this. Let's make sure that we're going to use the comic because it's good for both of us. And again, we own the brand. So, again, if we don't push our own brand, how do we expect other people to? You had to have somebody come in and love it. Like what Kirkman, he wanted to write G.I. Joe. Larry Hama loves G.I. Joe. It's his baby. I know people get mad and they say, he's not the George Lucas. He is the George Lucas of a real American hero. He wrote it all. Quickly, I want to answer this. Matt O'Brien says, how has Roman's health been? Has he been all right? I remember you saying he has like a back or shoulder issue, I believe. He tore his ACL. He's doing better. He actually comes upstairs when I go to bed now. He's actually up here right now. He doesn't limp on it anymore. But I don't know if it's going to get any better, to be 100% honest. I think this is where he's going to be. But I also don't want to risk it and ruin it because that surgery is expensive. Tidyrum Hanger jumps in and says, I had to dip out for a bit, but what did I miss? Highlight reels. StreamYard tries to do it, and I tried letting it do it last week, and it just circled forever. I think the stream is too long that it kills it. Stanley says, so if the new designers are introduced on June 3rd stream, what would be the lead story, the designers or the product reveal? What would be the product? You would just, more than likely they won't. More than likely they won't announce who the designers are because everyone would know, well, anyone with half a brain would know that the designers had nothing to do with what was being shown off, so they don't need them. Now, on second hand, they may show off the new designers and say, hey, as most of you know, Lenny and Tony have both left for another studio. We wish them the best of luck, but don't worry. We have two new wonderful designers, and they have been working in conjunction with, Lenny and Tony as they were designing what they were doing. And I'm going to bring them on. Here's their names. Now let's show off the product. Hasbro is not going to make a big deal about who's on there. If you ever watch the Star Wars streams, when they had new guys come in, they had them come in. They didn't really talk too much about him. They said, hey, you got this new guy, whatever, kind of give a little short story about him. But that was it. So, it's Hasbro's never going to make it about that. Remember, Hasbro it sounds awful, but when you're in a corporate, when you're in corporate America, you're a number, not a name. Like I said, I can walk into my owner's, I could call my owner right now and be like, hey, what do you need? It's midnight. He's fucking fast asleep. But I could call my owner right now. You can't do that at a big company. Anything that's corporate. And you're just a number. They're waiting to lay you off. And I know that sounds awful, but there is a reason why they say no one retires from Hasbro, right? It's not because they have a whole shit ton of people that are retiring and getting their gold watch or whatever you get when you hit 30 years or whatever. And 20 years in any industry at one place is crazy these days. It also lets your boss know you're not leaving. 25 years. That's what I'm saying. Carlos says, I hope these new designers last longer than the third singer of Van Halen. Wait, Van Halen had a third singer? I'm not even joking. I knew they had David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar, who can't drive 55. Um, they had a third singer? I truly did not know that. Toy Bounty Hunter says, I'm sure Lenny and Tony worked on a team and it wasn't just them made up the team. So that was the thing. This is why people were so scared. Like if you ever talk to Lenny or you talk to other people that knew him, again, I'm not. There's many people that know way more than I do, and there's a lot of people that know less than I do. But again, like a lot of the knowledge that I have is nothing crazy. Lenny was the team. That's the whole thing. Like that's the problem. Lenny was the team. He was the head designer. Tony worked underneath him. Corey worked underneath him doing sculpting. But Lenny was the one, from my understanding, that really went and pushed for everything. And I don't know how Lenny is, but I know Corey. You get some drinks in Corey, and he tells you everything. So you get some drinks in Corey, and he's by Lenny at Joe Fest. I think we might be able to get a little bit more out of him. But he's still going to be, again, this guy does not want to burn bridges. And I'm sure Tony doesn't either. I've never talked to Tony. Most people don't want to burn bridges. But now they're willing, like, hey, you know what? I can talk a little bit more about things that I couldn't before, but they still have friends there. They still have friends there that have to go into work every single day, and they know the things that they're dealing with. And again, if I end up sitting there and talking to Lenny, I'm not going to sit there and talk to him only about Classified. Again, this is where we talk about why Joe Fest is so special. We're not there just to talk toys. We do, but we also get to know one another. So we are actual friends, right? It's one of those things. Like we're actual friends. So if I end up talking to Lenny, after hours and stuff, it's definitely not going to be only about Classified. And believe me, it's not the thing that they only want to talk about. I mean, you go watch my interview with him from a few years ago, and you'll see we barely talked G.I. Joe at all. And backstage, we didn't really talk. We talked personal about different things and, all that other stuff. So, there's more to it than just talking and getting to know them or ask them questions. I can only imagine the questions he's going to get bombarded with them. I did say to him though, hey, who would have thought that it would take you leaving the G.I. Joe brand to finally make it to Joe Fest? Which she kind of found that kind of comical. But what I can say is, the people that think like, hey, this brand is done. Hasbro's done a horrible job. And I'm not saying Hasbro's done a great job. No one really understands this, this move. But I don't think the line's going anywhere. And again, they are all set through 2027. Which gives who's ever coming into design, because they always say they're 18 months out of the next figure. So this, if these people were already there, it gives them time to know what they were doing. Like, hey, this is what we've been working on. This is the direction. Do we want to go in a different direction? Do we want to go in a new direction? Do we want to keep this direction, but also have a direction over here? And I think that is something that we might see going into 2027. So, but that's it. It's after midnight. I give you three hours. I appreciate it, all of you guys. As I said, there is no you people. As you know, there is no Circle of Jerks. Tomorrow, it was weird. Baldy's mom said, you can't do a show tomorrow because May 12th is the busy time for my 900 number. So I need you off the line. And we all said, you know what? That's fine. We can do that. And you know what? We're good. So don't go looking for us tomorrow. There is no Circle of Jerks, but I think we'll be back the next week, right? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? You take a week off, come back. You think with 5 people that we'd be able to get one person to do it, but we can't. We just can't. So anyway, enjoy your Tuesday off from Circle of Jerks. I will see you guys all this Thursday for the Drive to Joe Fest with Debo, DNA, and Plastic Fantastic, also known as Michael. Everyone have a wonderful night, and I will see you Thursday.